Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the match this evening. I am your host, Kamika. Alongside me is Righteous, and this is going to be a PXE League match between Never Lucky and I Don't Like Sand.
Yeah, super exciting. Never Lucky coming off a series loss, unfortunately. First one of the season, while I Don't Like Sand is still looking to gain momentum kind of at the bottom half of the standings. It'll be interesting to see if they took some notes from that series loss that Lucky took, or if Never Lucky is just going to keep on chucking ahead to say that was a blip in our radar, but we're still one of the top teams in the league.
Yeah, one of the things, if they pay close attention, they will be looking at is, yes, a ban on Seraphine, because that is exactly what Red Panda likes to be going for. He is technically in the ADC role, but he has some of the least amount of kills as ADC, but that's because he plays Seraphine and tries to get some good kills for the rest of his teammates. It is pretty effective, so there's a reason why they banned it.
Yep, Seraphine taken off the board. Fiddle as well. If you're not familiar playing against Fiddle, you know it's one of those champs you don't see too often. Can definitely wreak havoc on your teams. Get to go ahead and take that away from Tominato. Meanwhile, on Never Lucky's ban side, we have Victor and Udyr taken away. And we're going to wait and see what this last ban will be. My guess... Oh, well, never mind. I don't have to guess anymore.
Strong mid laner.
Yeah.
Ooh, we were theorizing on the fact that they might ban the Bel'Veth because that is one of Never Lucky's jungler's favorite players. I theorized it was going to be a little bit more of a change in playstyle, trying to just, keep Vision up in the jungle. But clearly they don't even want to mess with it because a fed Bel'Veth can be absolutely annoying to deal with and can get quite easily out of control and ruin the game for you.
For sure. And I expect to see either a Hecarim or an Olaf locked in. I really doubt they have... Oh, no, never mind. You're right. Swain. Swain OTP support, definitely be in the support role. I do know Gymnastics could play it, but it's most likely going support. Pretty overpowering sometimes. As an ADC, you just want to auto last hit the minion. All of a sudden, you just get Swain pulled while you're autoing. Super annoying. But yeah.
Yeah, as a Swain main myself, there's a lot of really, really annoying things that you can do against Swain, either in mid or in ADC. He really makes team fights no matter what build he goes for. But on the other side, I don't like Sand. They're going to be going for a little bit of a burst build with Tristana. If I had to take a guess, they're probably going to be going with someone like Nautilus, someone that can lock people down. Hell, maybe even a Blitzcrank. But I would definitely say probably more like even an Alistar I think could be fitting in pretty well here, especially with his most recent update. But Amumu, yeah, a lockdown support so that Tristana can get as much of bursting down as is humanly possible before they can even react to it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We have seen in the pro meta as it starts to shape up, just on to take in mid as well, really high prio, perma shove, look to roam with your jungler. If they're trying to put Tominato down and kind of throw him off kilter, definitely a thing they can look to do, while Corki and Jarvan are locked in. Corki obviously in the mid lane, Jarvan looking to be jungle, recently buffed, kind of a hybrid AD bruiser build. Definitely really, really strong as of this patch. And I'm curious to see if the Amumu will go support. Still one of the better performing junglers. You go E-Max, you basically one-shot Raptors, you pick up Demonic, your clear is great, lots of CC. But it could be taking support as well. So we'll just have to see what happens here. Wow, Vlad is locked in.
Well, it does look like that Tristana is definitely going to be our ADC here unless they're for some reason going Tristana top, which I don't think is a thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. But yeah, Vlad coming in the mid lane is going to be really annoying for Corki to deal with, especially towards the late game. I mean, Corki, he's a very late game player in and of himself, but Vladimir, he has something else to deal with. He doesn't have any mana cost to deal with. Riven going to be banned out for Never Lucky in the top lane. That's a really strong carry going out of the way, potentially, especially if Never Lucky have some good experience with Riven. The difference between, like, a good Riven and a bad Riven is stark in the extreme, but seriously, if you can be really good with Riven, you're golden. Jack's going to be a little bit easier to play than Riven, in my personal opinion, and an even easier top laner of Nasus going to be getting knocked out. But yeah, they're just really targeting these top laners just because these people can definitely be some stat sticks towards the end, especially Nasus.
Yeah, and it seems to me like the meta is kind of letting itself towards this bruiser fighter champion, top lane centric style. And looking at that Vladimir, it's going to be really nice into the Corki as we see Zach banned away for the final ban for Never Lucky. Vladimir is just going to be able to sustain all that poke, I'm assuming the Corki is going to take first strike, and yeah, it'll stock up some gold and be kind of a nuisance in team fights with that package. But Vlad's going to be perfectly fine, just sitting there sustaining, CSing. It'll really be up to Jarvan to kind of put some pressure on this Vlad, make sure he doesn't get to scale for free alongside the Corki.
Yeah, Vlad is also can be pretty hard to gank with his pool being up. So yeah, especially with pool and ghost, he can get away from situations quite quickly. I think that Jarvan's really going to have to dedicate himself to taking him down if he wants to, do that. And with that comes the possibility that other lanes could get fed a little bit out of control. I'm really looking at Tristan and Mumu. So if they do decide to try and target the Vladimir early on, which would be a good call, in my personal opinion, they have to make sure that they really dedicate themselves to it. And now Volibear going to be coming in the jungle role, or even the top role, but probably the jungle role. It's going to be giving them some good prio in the jungle lanes, at least in the beginning. I would anticipate they're probably going to go for some dragons and maybe even a lot of jungle objectives early on. He's going to get a lot of good gold leads going on. And in response to Tristana, we're going to be seeing the Miss Fortune picked up.
Yeah, I will let you know Dezen is like a Volibear one-trick top laner. So most likely going to be top lane here. I think it's pretty smart from I Don't Like Sand, saving the Amumu kind of as a flex pick with this R5. They could lock in support here, or they could pivot and just let Amumu stay at that support role. Lock somebody else in, as Renekton is picked up in response to the Volibear, that empowered W. If you can hit it when Volibear drops the shield, just immediately pop the shield, gives you a lot of all-in potential. So looking at Never Lucky side, as we see their draft rounded out, lots of high prio in the early to mid games with the Jarvan, the Renekton locked in, while some scaling coming out with the Corki and Swain. So it'll be interesting to see how they navigate their laning phases. As Ornn is the response to Renekton, just gonna play safe, play back, and it looks like that Amumu will be support.
Volibear will be jungle unless they're doing like some crazy things, the likes of which we have never seen before in our entire lives. But
yeah,
true. I've seen some solo queue Ornn support, but it never really goes very well. So yeah, obviously that's a little bit of a joke. But yeah, I think that both teams have some pretty good late game scaling. Obviously, you got Corki, you got Swain, who's always going to be getting more health, and especially if he builds Demonic Embrace, that's pretty much infinite AP scaling as well. It'll take him a little bit, but obviously he'll get there at the end of the day. Both teams have some pretty good things to start off with early on. Very well-rounded comps from both sides, but I do have to say, I don't like Sands a little bit better because they just have a little bit better engage, my personal opinion, and Tristan has a little bit better escapability. So like, say, the engage from Never Lucky, it's not as, I would say, strong as the engage from I Don't Like Sand, because yeah, maybe you can get a Swain pull. It's not the most accurate thing to be hitting in the world, especially in team fights when you're in the jungles. In Jarvan, his all-in ability, the Cataclysm, Tristana can literally just jump right out of it, and the same can't be said for Amumu's Curse of the Sad Mummy. So I do like I Don't Like Sand's comp a little bit better from that aspect.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit easier to execute, right? You look at Never Lucky side, Jarvan definitely wants to go in. Swain kind of wants to play in this middle ground, kind of between the fight, kind of like a tank, but not really, kind of a drain tank. While Corki and Miss Fortune definitely want to sit back. So the Jarvan and Renekton kind of have to work in tandem, look to pick off the Tristana, maybe the Vladimir, and then let Miss Fortune and Corki take care of the rest. But this Ornn, this Volibear, this Vlad, they're all going to be really, really beefy. And unless this Miss Fortune starts to come online, which we haven't seen Red Panda do very often when he's taken off that Seraphine, it's going to be up to the Corki just to, they have to get to the neutral objectives first. Corki has to sit there, poke with package, gets a lot of damage out. Otherwise, the Mumu ult comes out, the Vladimir ult on top of that, the Ornn ult, Tristana is going to be scaling. I definitely think I Don't Like Sand's comp is way easier to execute. And so, me personally, I think I Don't Like Sand has the advantage game one. That being said, it really depends on how Never Lucky pilots the early game with this Jarvan.
Yeah, I especially like the bot lane combo matchup from I Don't Like Sand versus Never Lucky as well. Again, it does come down to their execution may be easier, but it is still something that you can mess up quite easily. Say I Don't Like Sand, they try and go for a level 2 all-in, which is very common on Tristana, especially when you've got someone with lockdown CC like a Mumu. Say somehow, some way, they botch it and Miss Fortune somehow gets a double kill, then that'll be really, really horrendously bad for them. I mean, I'm trying not to speak into the universe, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm just saying these are things I've seen. It is still obviously possible for it to happen, but I still think it's equally more likely that I Don't Like Sand. They play for the level 2 Tristana. It's pretty much impossible to beat her out from the level 2 push just because every time she kills a minion, the damage splashes over to other minions and makes it really easier for her to clear waves. And so I really think that Swain and Miss Fortune are just going to try and rest on their laurels a little bit, try and play and wait for Jarvan to come along and give them some support if he even does, because he's probably going to be focused on the Vladimir. But yeah, it's going to have to be a little bit of a turtle game in the bot lane for Never Lucky, I would say.
Yeah, and I will say, Mumu starting that Q, if he does miss, you do have an opportunity to punish those cooldowns, right?
Very true.
The Mumu Q comes out, misses, Swain could just hit the pole on a Mumu. All of a sudden, Miss Fortune starts welling on him. That's the advantage of having, a range support as opposed to the melee. It's really up to the melee to make that play, make sure it happens positively. Otherwise, a Mumu can really only go in. There's no way out unless he has flash, and so definitely have to be respected of that. But like you said, Tristana Mumu should have that push relatively early with that E passive. Look for maybe roaming to the red side with Volibear, setting this Jarvan behind, because Jarvan's all about tempo, making plays early. He's not a jungler that just wants to sit there and full clear top to bottom, and so it's interesting to see how Tomanado, works around that. But with that being said, I think we're going to take a short break as we wait for a spectator delay, and we will be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are still in here with Never Lucky versus I Don't Like Sand, and I am joined by Righteous. So, Righteous, we got to
Hmm.
see a little bit of the draft, and there is definitely a little bit of a draft diff going on here, but the team that has a draft in their favor is the team that is, putting that thought on hold. This might be a little bit cheeky here. They clearly think they might be going for an invade, but will
And the
Amumu be
ward's gonna
ballsy enough to
spot them
do
all
it?
out. No, Zinnial's just gonna see all 5 members are there. They're gonna back away. Stoner
That's
gets
a lot of
some
damage.
damage. Stoner's on top of the damage charts, baby. But
I mean,
yeah, they're
that's
just
some
gonna
nice
walk
little
away.
damage early on, but yeah, we were talking about the draft diff going into the hands of I Don't Like Sand, but they've only won 2 games so far, and Never Lucky has only lost 2 games so far. So a little bit of a scoreline diff coming into this. Do you think that what do you think it's really going to come down to? Is there a chance that even with this draft diff they could win?
Definitely a chance, right? Like, I mean, we're mid to low elo in this league, and so I don't think anybody's gonna play perfect. And so if you take the nameplates away, I definitely think I don't like sand is a little bit more favored. But you put the nameplates on, you know, Never Lucky, like you said, has only lost 2 games the whole season so far. Definitely one of the top contenders in the league, and so it is up for I don't like sand to play to their comp's advantages and stay away from their disadvantages. Don't let Tominato snowball. He's gonna be looking at be active early. Tension Fox on this Renekton. Dezen has to
Look at
respect.
this. Oh, Swain! Oh, huge hit! That's great damage being done already, but Amumu landing one right on back. Headbutt in the 11 Daylights out of Red Panda, but good overall trades. That was a great landing early on from Swain. It's going to be definitely setting the pace for any future E's or aggression from them.
And there's another E, just as you said it. But looking at Dezen here, one of my favorite matchups if I'm playing Ornn is Renekton, because Renekton kind of has he has his dash, he can't get out, but Ornn can really stay toe to toe with him early on. Now once Renekton starts getting the Blade of the Ruin King, it gets a little bit more hectic. But this early lane doesn't just stack up the procs on Grasp, get some health in the bank, and look to take the free farm when he can. Looks to make most of the impact in team fights. So let's see how Tension Fox does.
Another well-landed never move from Swain, and that's a very hurt Amumu. Gotta be very cautious of those minions, but also gotta be cautious of the bandage tosses. Ignited, and in goes Tristana trying to clean things up. That's a very dead Red Panda. Swain should very well be able to get the trade out here, but unfortunately is going to be on cooldowns and a little bit late to the level 3, so he will be surviving at the end of the day. But will Tensions Fox? Yes, he will, forced to flash, but Swain still not completely done with this Tristana, with Jarvan lurking around the corner.
And Dezen should just freeze the wave here as we look for Tominato. Wants to get this tower dive in with Nerf Swain. The flash! Wow.
Yeah, Tominato
excellent
should survive as
EQ
well.
flash. That was great. For those of you that don't know, you can buffer the EQ with flash on Jarvan. And so say they're not quite into the EQ range like you saw there, just flash, get the knock up, and walks out with the Triumph Rock.
I thought he was gonna E him there. He had full vision on him, but I guess he just didn't want any of the sauce from Nerf Swain. But Jarvan getting a little bit of the sauce up in here. The Tominator sauce. I almost called him tomato sauce, but either way, yeah, he's saucified now, as Jarvan will be instantly getting brought back down to earth.
Yeah,
and the Scuttle Token as well.
Props to Lonely Stoner, Tominato definitely greeting for that. As we see Red Panda just walk up and kind of just give over a kill, maybe?
Ooh, getting behind the minions, but unfortunately cannot evade the bandage toss forever. And so, yeah, a little bit of wonky back timing because of Misfortune's earlier death. Now gonna have 2. And now Swain might actually have to be the carry of the bot lane.
Yeah, man, he already has those pen boots, right? So he's gonna be doing, a sneaky amount of damage in this lane. As he tries to hold these minions back. You don't want to give him play it too early to this Tristana who's looking to scale. Like what I was saying, Lonely Stoner sees that Tominato had, definitely bitten off more than he get you. The flash was down. He saw it used on his bot lane. And so picks up not only the crab, but also the kill.
Oh, but Tominato, sees something else here as well. It's Ornn, and he is trying to get away. They do expend the flash from, so that's worth at the end of the day. He's just going to go back to what he was doing before.
Yeah, and I think Dezen's in a decent spot here. The wave will be crashing towards him. He still has the TP available. He's already used his Ornn passive, stacking up those cloth armors. Look at nullify the damage from Renekton, and so I think Desmond's in a pretty decent spot. Tension Fox does have to play a little bit safe here, as Flash is down for him, but Volibear looking to start up the Earth
Another
Dragon.
never move, and look at that damage. It's so incredibly great from the Swain. They might look for another one here as well. It's going to be up in another 5 seconds, so I'm curious to see what goes on there. Dragon is up, and Volibear is going to be very close to hand as well, so yeah, this could be quite the interesting situation as Volley is trying to solo the Dragon. Another never move lands, and Swain is trying to isolate the Tristana, gonna force her to jump away, and Amumu is gonna be completely isolated, but does a deceiving amount of damage to Misfortune, actually soloing her, and Amumu probably going to be getting away safely now into the hands of Lonely Stoner, so that's another crazy death going into the hands of Red Panda.
Smite fight, and it looks like Tom's just
Nope,
gonna be able
not
to
even
take
gonna
it.
be a fight here. As just going and taking it on away from them. No damage, no armor being had by Volley, so Swain with his armor pen is gonna be looking to pull him right back on in, and Never Move should be coming up right about now, and does manage to pull him back in, but pulls him right back into his own thing, trying to come on in now. Tominato does manage to find Amumu and the shutdown, but Vlad trying to find even more. It does have level 6 on all of them, but Corki has it as well, and he's rotated, Never Move right back on in, and hitting the W as well, but he does have to pull away from that one.
Yeah, lots and lots of stuff happening there. I think, Lonely Stoner, credit, he's trying to get the early dragon, stacks happening with the pushing bot lane, but he needed to pull off as soon as he saw the never move happen onto Sendicia. I don't know, Tristana, we'll call her. Just because,
Oh, forcing the Cold Meek out from him, and in comes the Oran Horn as well, and ooh, just finishing him off with style. Dezen just killing him with the Oran Horn. I think that's the first time I've seen anyone kill anyone 1v1 with Renekton with the Oran Horn, dude. That's a first for me.
Oh, as we all know, Ornn is an AP bruiser tank assassin, so
True.
you gotta be wary of his damage. But like I was saying before, Lonely Stoner trying to get the early dragons started, but unfortunately should have just pulled off as soon as he saw the bot lane aggressing onto his own. Could have turned it with the 2v3, but instead, stayed on the dragon too long. Ultimately gave the dragon to Never Lucky as well as a couple of kills, and so that feels a little bit bad. The Swain doing work. Red Panda is struggling, as we thought they might. Not on the Seraphine. As we see Nerf Swain just hitting E after E after E, he's gonna be getting a lot of health just by doing that.
Yeah, I know, and oh my god, another one, dude! You gotta respect it. Seriously, at what point are you gonna respect this guy's Eing ability? The Never Move has just always been landing. I think every single time we've cambered over to the bot lane, it's just Swain hitting an E and they just fully engage. I think if Misfortune, now that she's got the Noon Quiver, can definitely start to do some more damage, especially if it comes off the back of a minion, and pulling her from mid-air once again, and hitting her with the W as well, the Vision of Empire. And so Swain now hitting level 6. Red Panda, unfortunately, only level 4 because of how many deaths, but Swain could definitely look to make an all-in here if
Swain,
any minute now.
Swain could dive. He has the stopwatch available, from the runes. And so they have to definitely respect the Swain dive, to be able to heal with his ult as well while sitting under tower. So we'll see if they can punish the spot lane even further. Tristana just about 10% HP. 1 E should be enough.
Yep, and the Glacial Augment's going to hit as well. This is going to be slowing Amumu down, and does hit Tristana by proxy, but that's still not going to be good enough for Swain. Not good enough for a bounce shot either, because there are no minions able to be hit there, unfortunately. But this wave will be resetting, and with that, they could very well force Tristana and Amumu to come out towards them, but it appears that they're shoving the wave really hard. Tristana and Amumu not very keen on it anyway.
I see the Caulfield Warhammer started for Tension Fox on this Renekton. It'll be interesting to see if he actually starts Black Cleaver. He knows Dezen on this Ornn is going to be stacking armor, so really, really great value buy. So it's just being buffed.
And oh my god! That's just barely off of a double bounce shot kill, but in comes Vladimir now instead, just letting that E sit there.
Tom's right behind him.
Does still have the ult here as well, and in comes the Corki. And looking for these final 2 kills. Jarvan going on in, and forcing the flash, but she will not be surviving. It could be a 3-for-0. Swain just completely deleting the health bar of Vladimir, trying to get him with the Vision of Empire on the way out, but ever so slightly puts it behind him. And so now, with the Rift Herald in hand, they'll be taking a lot of golden plates.
Yep, they're going to take this first tower, try to push it into tier 2 as Gymnastics trying to stop the Vlad back. Ends up doing so successfully. But it always feels bad when you're, bot lane. You think you'll be able to turn a 3v2, and then all of a sudden it's 4v3, not in your favor. Gymnastics with a great TP onto that bot lane tower is Tominato.
Great curse of the sad mummy though. And it's looking like Swain, no R, is going to be in some deep trouble. Gets one on the way out, though. Still very, very healthy, but cannot escape this Tristana. Yeah, no R, no mana, no vision-breaking ability, because Tristana's got the ward in her back pocket. But, oh, Tristana W can't come up just in time. Swain going to try and even pull her into the turret, but just ever so slightly too far away. That's a testament to how many stacks he's got. It's given him the amount of HP he needs exactly to get out of that situation.
True, and that's just a classic overstay, as he didn't turn off the... Oh, what auto! Oh my gosh.
God.
Yeah, Lonely Sonar missed the R radius for the tower there to turn it off, and so definitely took a little bit more damage than he thought he was going to need to, and so has to turn away. Gymnastics getting out by the skin of his teeth. Like you're saying, this Swain is huge. The Leandri is already completed, still has that stopwatch available because it could be a menace in team fights. We see the Gore Drinker picked up for Jarvan as well, and so, I mean, if you realistically, outside of the Tristana, nobody can really escape the Jarvan. Yeah, sure, Vlad could pull, but it is terrain. He can't go under terrain, and so if you get the good Jarvan ulti, and then you just have Swain sitting there soaking them up, that's going to be a lot of damage to look forward to in these team fights. As we see Neverlucky picking up that second Drake. We have a Chemtech map on the Rift. Definitely one of my favorite maps. Much more so than the old Chemtech one.
Yeah, and honestly, we were theorizing a little bit about Volibear's build. Looking at it now, he's already gotten the Sheen as well as the armors. But, ooh, as I'm talking about that Cataclysm, it's going to be a cataclysmic loss for Vladimir, trying to stay alive until his hemophase can get up, but he just cannot survive in time. So that's going to be another easy kill with the Gore Drinker for Tominato and Gymnastics.
Swain.
Yes, exactly what you need. Swain getting a little bit stunned up, but they're still standing right in it. And the stopwatch will be popped, and so too will Tristana. Well played, Nerf Swain. A man after my own heart, Swain main. You love to see it happen, dude.
And, this comes down to, if you're high elo, you're definitely going to recognize that a stopwatch is available for Swain. Definitely a little bit of a bait. Like, oh, we're going to get this huge shutdown on Swain. Oh! Never mind, he goes golden, and both of us are dead. And so this Swain is massive now. Not very often do you see a 500 gold bounty on a support.
Yeah, not even that, but you saw his HP just go up immensely when you prop that stopwatch. Getting Zhonya's Hourglass, getting the stopwatch really early on in Swain allows you to do stuff like that where they think they're gonna kill you, they can get really close, but you just pop the Zhonyas, they're still standing in your ult for some reason, and then you're just back to half HP from being down to literally 10 HP left. But as I'm saying this, they do finally manage to dodge one of the Swain E's, but the W, typically easier to dodge, is going to be landing perfectly onto them and keeping them zoned away. But coming around the back is going to be J4 trying to dash away, but going right back on is going to be Tominato. Big damage being done, especially with the Black Cleaver, but it's just going to be a little bit too big of an ask. But with the wave pushed up now, they might very well go for it. Seems that Destin is ready for it, but is he really? The answer is going to be no. He might get one from the turret shot. No, Tominato just barely going to edge that one out.
They're, playing a little bit to their margins there. I was worried Destin was going to be able to hit an E on the Jarvan ultimate, knocking them both up, then getting an ultimate proc as well, but unfortunately wasn't able to do so. Tominato getting out with about 25% HP. And right now, we're looking at the gold lead.
Ooh, Gymnastics might be in a little bit of trouble here. Tristana does have that burst potential. Swain trying to get a cheeky W down, which would kill in that scenario if they didn't realize it, but unfortunately that's just going to be a little bit of free kill from the mid laner there.
Yeah, before that kill, we're looking at about a 7k gold lead now, down about 6.5. But Neverlucky definitely putting the pedal to the metal. Only 14 minutes into this game, has gotten both Jags, looking to get both Heralds. And like we were talking about, this Jarvan being really, really proactive early, working with his team, making some tower dives happen. And of course, it always helps when Swain's just hitting every E.
Every single one, I swear to God. And he's going to be looking to hit another one. Amumu's going to be here, but he's going to be spotted by the vision from from the Bullet Storm coming out from Red Panda. And so that's going to be 2 turrets already being gained. 3 turrets, excuse me. They've taken all the preliminary turrets, and that means jungle control now coming in here from Swain. He's going to run right into Lonely Stoner, though. He's going to stun him on up and then run right on away, wasting his R, which is pretty good for him. They don't really have to do much more than that. Unfortunately, they are going to lose his chickens, though.
Yeah, and I think it's a trade you're willing to take. You know, Volibear, it sucks you lose your chickens, but you do take a huge cooldown away from the Swain. With the dragon coming up here in about a minute, so won't have that ultimate available just yet.
The unfortunate thing is that the Swain R is actually pretty quick. I only know this because I'm a Swain main. At this point, it should be about like getting around just back up in time when he gets back into that dragon pit. But will Corki be alive in time? That's gonna be the real question. Swain gonna be taking down another one, doing huge damage. Tristana gonna be able to at least burst down the Corki, but the main threat's still alive, and that is Swain.
And you know, Tension Fox doing a really, really good job. He doesn't have TP available to him, but he's keeping...
Oh yeah, trying to get on away. What would be an even bigger blow is losing your jungler right before the dragon pops, and somehow still hitting that Swain. He literally tried so hard to dodge it, but literally walked right back into it, and now Red Panda with a kill as well. And that TP from Auron is going to be enough to keep that tier 2 turret alive, but not enough to save the rest of his teammates. And this should be a free and clear dragon to be gained, especially with the Rift Herald being dropped.
Yep, I think Red Panda and Swain just need to back off as he hits another E. However, doesn't going to be looking to go in. It's the E as well. If Swain never move, will come out.
Oh, he hit you! Oh my goodness, and the bullet time! It's bullet time, ladies and gentlemen, and down they go once again. That would have just been the icing on the cake if Swain hit that E as well, with the flash, no less. But, oh my goodness, they're about to get the 3rd turret and have the inhibitor wide open. They have not taken the dragon just yet, but I mean, they can pretty much take that at their leisure at this time.
Yep, Tension Fox is here for the Drake. Swain will be able to back up. Should be taken relatively for free unless Lonely Stoner wants to go for a steal, but he doesn't have his ult or flash available. I mean, he's going to be able to watch them take it right in front of his eyes.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to try and steal with an E, but Vlad going in here now as well could very well, if MF stayed there, kill her, but, oh, they're going to try and go for it. They're going to try and go for the smite fight, but getting knocked on up, and the blue team will steal the dragon. Corki coming in clutch with those payloads. And with that, a double kill finally in the hands of Corki. Now going to be able to start getting some massive skill going on here for him.
And about a 12,000 gold lead for Never Lucky. Dragon Soul Point taken as well, and they're in the driver's seats. Looking at red side, it's going to be really, really hard for you to come back into this game. You know, the Ornn items will help. However, you can't start giving out Ornn items until he gets a mythic of his own. Rushing Sunfire is going to put that timer even back further than what would kind of naturally occur as he looks for maybe a cheeky ultimate here.
Oh my god, just even the fadeaway E is landing. That's just... can we get a stack check on Swain real quick? I really do want to know just how many stacks this guy has. That's 62, and he gets about like 5 bonus health for it. So he's got... oh my god, that's so much bonus health already. That's almost 1,000 HP just from that. If this is a demonic game from him, I don't think it's going to be. But if it is, then, I mean, it could be. That would be just so much extra AP going into his hands, and yeah, I'm really getting worried about this.
And Lonely Stoner was forced to ult away to keep himself alive, so Never Lucky has a great Baron timer right now. But the thing is, they're playing so far ahead, Baron's not even up for another minute.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy to think about. They've already gotten an inhibitor. Sometimes that can be a little bit detrimental to your success, especially if you don't do anything shortly after that inhibitor gets taken, because again, you get those super minions. What could also be impactful is Swain getting isolated here. They're looking to go all up against him. Can Swain 1v5? He's getting a little bit of TP support, and he's tanky enough and draining enough to where he can do it solo. Wow. Corki coming in now as well, and Swain going to be slowing him on down. Amumu very, very dead. It's bullet time once again, ladies and gentlemen, and it is clobbering time as well, as now they think they're going to get a kill on the Swain, but once again, they are debated.
And shout out to Red Panda for kind of holding fast onto the rock solid mental. You know, going 0-3 early on would never feel great, but already has a 400 gold bounty of his own, their own, and so props to him for, you know, letting Swain kind of do the heavy lifting and lane, letting him scale up. And yeah, Never Lucky really has to be careful here. They did take the inhib so early, like you were talking about. So they're just giving free 90 gold every time one of these supers walks into the base. If you're red side, you definitely want to have that not go to Lonely Solar. Doesn't. You want to have, Tristana or Vladimir pick it up for those crucial items in these team fights. But if you're never lucky here, you're gonna want to be able to close out the game probably in 2 or 3 minutes. Otherwise, you're letting I don't like sand and Avenue back into scaling.
Yeah, and Swain's gonna go for even more Magic Pen now. They haven't really even built much of any, except for a movement with the Radiant Virtue, obviously. But this magic damage from Swain is about to be absolutely disgusting with all this Magic Pen from the boots, as well as the Blighting Gem. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Dude is 7-0-10. I've not seen a support carry this hard in quite a while, and they're gonna look to use that advantage to take this Baron.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when the Swain support has more gold than any individual on I don't like Sand's side. And with this Baron taken, whoo! Nerf Swain indeed.
That, man.
Nerf Swain indeed. That's what I have to say.
God, that is...
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this side just game. Swain, he has the Zhonya's backup and available. If they really want to, I think they just have Gymnastics come around. Tom look for a good ulti, and that might be all she wrote.
Oh, great engage there, great knockups, but instantly the re-engage happens to Swain. A lot of damage being done to Tension. Vlad is starting to get a little bit damagey, but look at this from Swain. He finally misses an E, though, but Red Panda going to be able to get the knockdown onto him, and it is death all around, left, right, and center. Even Ornn evaporates in the face of this super-duper fed Swain. Not even soul up just yet, ladies and gentlemen. Barely even time for Baron to be had, but we are still going to be right in at the end of this game. Swain doesn't even care. They don't even care that they're taking a whole bunch of damage from these turret shots. That's how much health, that's how much stacks they have, and they are going to be ending this game off right here and now. Maybe not actually ending this game off right here and now. There is still time for Mumu to respond and for Swain to hit just one more E. No, not quite to hit one more E before this game ends, but still, immaculate game played out. They did get a little bit draft dipped, I do have to say, but it's not about the draft diff. It's about execution.
Never look at the pad the stats. Gymnastics does end up falling, but that should be the game. And wow, talk about efficiency from Never Lucky. 22 minutes. They just took every objective, won every fight, and kind of mopped their hands and said, "That's it, we're done." Game 2 on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly a little bit shocked about that. Basically, I feel like a caster curse of them, man. I really feel like I do. I did them dirty because literally exactly what I said could be their biggest downfall is exactly what happened. They, early on, did not respect the Swain E in the fact that he could hit it on them from so far away. He showed that he could do it even without the minion wave trick that I like to use, where you hit it on the last minion of the wave, and then it just expands and engulfs everyone all around, roots multiple people at once, and people never expect it. But he clearly knew that. He clearly knew how to hit it without it. And so, yeah, just never really a whole lot of respect being given to that. And by the time they did, it was already too late. He had so much health, so much damage, so much magic penetration, and he just extended that to every single other part of the lane. They didn't really contest him too much for Dragons or Rift Herald either. And so, yeah, I mean, they just capitulated them on all fronts.
So we'll end game 1 off with a fun little stat here. Nerf Swain, most damage in the game, most gold in the game from the support role. Only 53 minions taken, and man, did he get value out of that pick. Might be a first ban coming into game 2. We will be back after a short break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in here once again with NLG versus I Don't Like Sand, and man, oh man, was that a absolute blowout in the favor of Never Lucky. They got draft diffed, but they just completely outplayed their opponents. Wouldn't you say, Righteous?
Yeah, I don't like Sand. Might need to change their names to I don't like Ravens because
I don't
that
like winning.
lane was nuts. I don't like winning. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, wouldn't not be surprised to see Swain taken off the board alongside the Seraphine. Instead, a little bit of a troll hover from what we were seeing in chat. But Victor taken away from I don't like Sand. Really safe pick. Kind of does what the Vlad does, sits there, scales. And then is a monster in team fights. Seraphine taken away as we kind of surmised would happen. To Panda's credit, he did start off a little shaky, but Nerf Swain definitely came through, helped him through the lane, and ended up having a decent enough game. But it'll be interesting to see how the game goes if Swain is taken away from Nerf Swain, or if it just doesn't get as fed as it did last game.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to give him the option. They're going to ban him
No.
straight out. I mean, like, you have to after a performance like that. Did not even die that game and got the most amount of kills, the most amount of gold on support with it. So, yeah, I would hate to see what would happen in this one. We were saying that the ease of execution was definitely there for I Don't Like Sand, but yeah, even with easy execution like that, I think that they might even have to dumb down the comp a little bit even more there. I think I was theorizing that they could even go for something like a rise mid and like Annie support, which is something I've been seeing in prominence quite recently. Pair that up with a Zeri in the bot lane, I think that'll be pretty easy to execute and would also do just like an insane amount of damage late game scaling. It's all there for them.
All right, so Never Lucky, Tom has locked in Olaf. The last time I casted a Never Lucky game, he did get a pentakill on Olaf. We'll see if he can repeat.
Let's go.
And I mean, the ease of execution was there. The problem was they dug themselves in a hole before laning phase even ended. I mean, it seemed like they were just kind of conga line inting gold away, and then by the time they could group up for team fights or could look to make plays, they were already like 5, 6, 7, 8,000 gold down, and so there wasn't really anything to do. Nobody could cut through the Swain damage, especially when you have the Zhonya's available. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do. Leona locked in as well as a Zac, so I mean, I don't like Sand is kind of showing their cards saying we're trying to go in, and it's interesting because the Olaf's gonna do the same thing, and you can't CC him. He pops R. Leona can't peel. Zac won't be able to peel, and so these next 3 picks from I don't like Sand definitely have to be some high damage carries that can hope to burst or kite or do something to this Olaf. Otherwise, he's gonna wreak havoc on the backline as Brand is locked in. Damage. That will be a Brand support. That is what Nerf Swain plays when Swain is banned. Really likes those mage supports, these high damage supports, and so Brand, we all know, you can go 110 on this champ, but if you hit your ult, you're gonna be doing 4,000 or 5,000 damage in team fights just because.
Yeah, and going along with it, Miss Fortune, not super surprising once again. Surprising if you consider what, they play normally, but I mean, Miss Fortune got that siege ability, got the ability to hit people through waves, whereas Jinx is a little bit more of a steady Eddie scaling up type of person. Miss Fortune hits her stride a little bit earlier, and so going along with Brand, I think that you could definitely get a really good early game lead going on with just these two. Brand gets his stun and full combo off very early. And so on the other side, we're going to be seeing Leona and Caitlyn coming on in here. And so, yeah, I think that this could very well have some good execution. It's basically a lot like their last comp where they had a Mumu, Leona. They fill very, very similar roles. However, they're not going to be going for some dive. I was thinking maybe they go along with the old dive theme by picking Kai'Sa or something like that. But obviously, they want to be keeping it far, far away from Olaf as much as humanly possible. And Caitlyn does have that.
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably see Caitlyn pick up the Gale Force as well if they have the flash available. Going to be able to put a lot of distance between herself and Olaf. Kind of like in Caitlyn Leona's, kind of like a discount Lux Caitlyn lane. The only problem with Leona has right now is she's melee, and the Brand's going to be looking to put down poke with the W, with the E, with the Q, whatever it might be. And so, as long as Leona can stay healthy and look for an all-in with the EQ, setting up that trap combo for Caitlyn, there is some potential in this lane. But it's gonna feel bad for the first, level 1 at least. As we
Yeah.
see Echo bend away from I Don't Like Sand, and Yorick and Corki are the answers towards Never Lucky.
Yeah, Yorick, that's got to be a target ban, I would have to say, because yeah, I haven't really seen a Yorick play or a Yorick ban going on here. And Sylas, I think it's just a good ban overall. Obviously, you want to be keeping that guy away from you, especially when you got some high power ults coming on in here like Brands and Misfortunes, and probably whoever they end up deciding to pick is going to have some good ults for Sylas. There's enough reason to be picking Sylas, but there's a player that was banned the last time, a champion that was banned the last time in the form of Jax. He's been really rising to prominence with his AP scaling as well as his AD scaling, so he can get some pretty good hybrid combos with just like some pure bruiser builds as well as with Zhonya's Hourglass. It makes him a really, really big threat.
Yeah, and I mean, you see the comp coming together. You like to see some poke or some range damage coming out from those last look for mid, but Jax has that ability to lock down carries as well. With that Zac and Leona, Zac can set up, Jax can set up, Leona hits her ult, and it gets really scary for these, squishy members on the side of Never Lucky. Riven going to be doing their best to answer into the Jax, but this more Misfortune and Brand, if the Zac Leona can kind of get the ball rolling and get these picks, they're gonna pop pretty quick with this Jax, coming over the top, helicoptering away.
Yeah, and I like this from Azir. I don't know. I'm just, the first thing in my head, I know it's like crazy to say, but like just Brando and Azir, they can go together pretty dang well, and that's obviously not the first thing you would be thinking about when you look at this comp. I don't even know why I thought of that, but yeah, they have a really good like engage, disengage tool. They got MF ult, which Azir can drag people nice and easily into the Brand ult as well. Olaf can just go in for some strong dives, BCC immune, just go right on past Zac, Leona, Jax, pretty much any form of CC that they have. Olaf can just go ahead and dive the Caitlyn. And so, yeah, they're going to be looking for a little bit of damage in the mid lane of their own, and that is going to be Kassadin, who even despite the most recent nerfs, I guess you could say, to him, he's still pretty disgusting. So if this game goes late again, well, again, it was 21 minutes. If this game goes late, I think that Kassadin could be a big standout player.
Yeah, Jackson, Kassadin, these solo laners definitely known for their scaling, for their side lane pressure. I would like to see, a scaling mage that had some range come out from mid lane, because the problem is now you have Kassadin, Jax, Zac, and Leona that all want to go in. It makes it really easy for Brand to hit his combos, for Riven to get some damage down, for Azir just to ult everybody away. On the flip side, Never Lucky, when you see an Olaf locked in, you do want to see some kind of enchanter. Gymnastics was known for pulling out the Karma mid every once in a while. Would have been really, really great with the Olaf pick instead, opposite to the Azir. And so, looking at these comps, I think I Don't Like Sand, while they did have the better half game one, it's going to be really hard to execute this into Never Lucky's comp. Not that it's a bad comp per se, it's just that Never Lucky has so many tools to deal with these 4 melees on the side of I Don't Like Sand. Brand has really easy access to these champions. Misfortune, hits an E on all of them, can run away. Riven hits a big stun, all of a sudden, they're being taken low with this Azir just poking over the top, and that's not even mentioning the Olaf. They can't be CC'd by any of them, So I definitely think Never Lucky riding the high of game 1, looking to be able to close out game 2 in a 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, and the thing I would say I don't like the most about I Don't Like Sand's comp is that they have a lot of melee. They do have a lot of engage on that, but I mean, say they miss it, which it happens. You can definitely miss a lot of you can miss Leona E, you can miss Zac E, you can miss a lot of different things that would require that they would need to hit in order to have a good engage. So yeah, having Caitlyn as the only form of poke, otherwise you're just gonna have to go completely all in and hope that you land all your stuff or die. I think it really pigeonholes them into a tough situation where they have to be very selective about their fights. And while they're trying to be selective about their fights, Brand, Misfortune, Azir, they're just all going to be damaging them, poking them down. And I think that does give a lot of leverage to Never Lucky.
Yeah, and looking at these 2 junglers, they both better be pathing towards top lane, because Never Lucky, you're afforded 2 winning lanes. I think the Azir is going to have its way with the Cassidy early on until 6 is hit. Cassidy doesn't really have that all-in potential until he gets that ultimate. And then, Miss Fortune and Brand, they have the range advantage over that Leona. So I think you're going to have two pushing lanes in mid and bot. The most volatile lane right now is this Riven Jax matchup. I don't know who's favored on paper. I don't know if anyone is favored on paper. I'm not too familiar with Riven matchups, but this Olaf and this Zac, they're looking at that lane and saying whoever can get ahead in this lane might, kind of decide what's able to happen on the top side of the map. Because right now, I think Never Lucky's favored in the mid and bot lane matchups.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup because while Jax has some interrupts for Riven's combos, she also has the same thing for him. So, yeah, I think that the Jax E, it definitely gives him some good things going on early because of Riven's auto attack weaving being necessary and his E blocks auto attacks. So early on, I think that Riven could be having a little bit of a hard time up against Jax. And so Jax definitely needs to use this window along with Zac. The Zac and Jax combo going in on the Riven could be pretty good. And so if they can get that done early on, Jax getting fed would be absolutely astonishingly good for them. And so, yeah, I think that is going to be something that I think I dislike Santa's going to have to focus on. For Leona and Caitlyn, they're just going to have to focus on staying alive, peeling, not feeding the brand like they did the last time, because again, that's where a lot of the spiraling out of control really did come from. And on the other side, I think that the Riven could very well be an easy target with all the CC and interrupts coming out from Zac and Jax.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say I don't like Sand has an avenue to win this game, but it requires both the Cassidy and the Jax getting significantly far ahead of their lane opponents. In that case, you can have a pretty strong 1-3-1 comp in which Leona and Zac kind of shadow the Caitlyn. The Caitlyn's able to get damage on these towers relatively for free. The Azir might be able to match maybe the brand with the Miss Fortune, but if you can 1-3-1 and have these side lane menaces that nobody can really match, you can utilize that to your advantage. But that's kind of really the only way. And in this ELO, I don't see that happening too often. So we will see. But with that being said, we will get into game 2 after this quick spectator delay.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in here once again with Never Lucky versus I Don't Like Sand. And if you missed map number 1, I don't blame you. It was very quick because NLG won it in record time, 21 minutes. And I have a little bit of a question here for you, Righteous. Over under on that time for this one?
Over. Because
Over.
last game, Nurse Swain just got unbelievably fed. This one, Nurse Swain still could get unbelievably fed, but Gymnastics does have to do a little bit of scaling. You know, Tominato. Olaf still is an aggressive early jungler, but there's less, CC and things to work around, like the Jarvan. So I'll say over, just because anything under would be really quick.
Yeah, I know. That was, like, I obviously asked that question as a joke, but, like, somewhat serious as well, because... Like, seriously, coming out from that last one, I would have not expected it to be a 21-minute victory for NLG. I thought that if they were going to win, it was going to have to take them quite a decent amount of time because they definitely got draft diffed. But, I don't know, nerf Swain, showing why you should definitely at least ban Swain if you're not going to nerf him. And now that he has actually been banned, he's going to be picking up the brand. And we were talking about at great lengths this lane, the poke advantage is going to be there, and it's going to be a little bit rough for the Caitlyn Leona. I had mentioned earlier on that it would have been a good idea for maybe Zach to help Jax top, but the engage off the back of the Leona could be just as good.
Yeah, and we'll definitely see how these early levels play out. I will say props to I Don't Like Sand for scouting out their opponent. That early ward in the Pixel Brush down in bot river coming clutch both games. Never Lucky sending everybody 5 through that bush, and so able to spot that out and avoid those level 1 invades. So props to them. We'll see how they can continue to play well.
Yep, and typical Kassadin gameplay, just getting stabbed on up, just kind of letting it happen, can't really do much else. Ooh. And so, yeah, I noticed that Nerf Swain doing the exact same thing as he did in the last one, just hit all of his abilities. Every single time we've gone down here, he's hit a Pillar of Flame. Is he going to try and go for another one here onto Caitlyn? Overshoots it just a little bit, but still does a decent amount of damage. Level 2 push has been gained, so... Yeah, ooh, forcing the flash early. That's pretty good stuff, actually, for the Leona.
A really good flash by Nurse Swain, but you were right. Definitely a win for the Leona. Can look to all in that Swain, and now... Or Swain. That Brand, now that he doesn't have flash available.
Yeah. And so, did you also have their opponents quite pushed into their turret, which if Zach does do his finish off his clear pretty soon, no, he's actually cleared all the way towards top. So this is going to be a little bit of an unfortunate thing that they're all the way pushed up here and there's not going to be a possibility of a gank. They don't know that though, so yeah, obviously there's going to have to be a little bit of caution played down here.
And Nurse Swain, still putting out that pressure, maybe a little bit less so than he was, but still playing relatively aggressively. Up in the top lane, where I thought a lot of action was going to happen, we see Olaf start to creep quickly and quietly up here.
Oh, and Riven going on in, but jumping on away, utilizing the ward, I do believe, to jump away, or I think he can also just jump to minions, never mind. But either way, Jax able to get on nice and safely away. Olaf, the power farmer, though, going to be taking absolutely no bad things from going for that gank.
Yeah, and get off my doink. You know, built up a little bit of a.
Ooh. This
Hold
is
on.
curious from Lonely Stoner. Azir gonna be rotating over now to help, and Kassadin and Zac might just be giving away 2 free kills, or at least are gonna be giving away a lot of prio. So not only are they going to lose the ability to fight the Scuttle, they're also gonna force themselves to back, which is gonna even further cement the lead for Olaf.
Yeah, no sums blown from either jungler or mid, but I don't know if you were watching bot lane during that time. Both supports taking about to 5% HP. Both were able to get away. Ignite, the only thing used from the side of Leona, does still have that flash available. And so it'll be interesting to see if Lonely Stoner can be a little bit more proactive than last game and punish this summonerless spell or summoner spellless brand here in the bot lane.
I know what you mean. And so it looks like both junglers are looking at that, but in the meantime, Riven hitting all of her stacks, but E is going to be engaged. Stun hits from the other way, but in goes the Zac, just clobbering them together, but oh, the damage from Brand is absolutely massive. Olaf now getting in the action as well, and that Leona is going to try and sacrifice her life for the greater good, but it is not going to be enough, as Zac will now be falling by the wayside as well. He will be going down into his little blobs, but with the damage coming out from Tominato, he will not be surviving.
And this just looks like a repeat of last game, right? We get a little bit overzealous here on the bot side. I don't know if you noticed, Gymnastics was about to make the same play where he TP'd to the bot tower, was canceled by Kassadin's Q. So that's a little bit of feels bad, but I think he'll take it. He was able to sit in mid lane instead while his team picked up those kills regardless. Still be able to pick up that farm. Just kind of a funny interaction for those of you that don't know. Kassadin still does silence, or not silence, but he interrupts channels with his Q. So Gymnastics gonna be out that summoner spell.
Oh, please don't. Oh my god, is he actually gonna smite steal this? He does! Woo! He somehow does it! I mean, that is the one good thing about Zac I was gonna bring about as well, is that he can quite easily go in for smite steals basically out of nowhere. Does lose his life for it, but I mean, he was behind anyway, and that dragon being gifted over to them is pretty huge. That's one more dragon that they've gotten in the entire series so far.
Yeah, Gymnastics looking to aggress on the Exiled one. I don't know if you caught that. Exiled one with the quick hands, hit that R over the wall, able to keep himself safe. Might have been a double kill for Never Lucky, instead only amounts to that Zac. But Zac will gladly give his own life for a dragon. Stop that dragon scaling, that dragon stacking from Never Lucky, at least for a little bit. Is down in the farm department and the kills department, but he's playing a tank, so we'll take it.
I mean, yeah, and you're always going to be down against Olaf when it comes to farm, so that's not the worst thing in the world. What would be really bad is if they gave away a kill here. A lot of damage being done by Brand once again. And so, yeah, with the wave pushed up in this position, it's going to be hard for Zac to help, and it's going to be free damage. If they stick around, they're going to be pretty much at the mercy of Brand and Misfortune.
And if there's any pro League of Legends watchers out here, as Tominato is going to wrap around for this gank. Hold off on my thought as Get Off My Doink is going aggressive. Doesn't flashes away to relatively safely while Riven just misses the ult.
Oh, and he's waiting. He really should not do this, though. They've got 6 on him, and I think that this is basically a fight he would not win.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Brand is low on mana. So is Red Panda. I don't know if he will have the ult available. And it looks like the kill will be given over to Kaelin with.
And it does.
And
oh my god,
what just happened, top?
Jax.
Give me the instant replay. Just kidding, just kidding. But Jax got the double kill off of the. Jax got the double kill off of a botched dive from top. He does lose out on that farm, but he'll take the 2 kills in return.
Yeah, and all the while, that's a huge weight off the shoulders of I Don't Like Sand, because in goes Kassadin now as well. He's got Jintastic very low. Unfortunately, unable to kill him, but at the very least, he's gonna be able to bully him around. If he sticks around, he'll get a death. If he doesn't stick around, then he'll get even further behind in CS. He
does have to be careful though. Gymnastics does have the ult available. Can very easily just look to ult him into tower range with Tominato close nearby. Exiled one doing really well in this matchup. He was, kind of getting bullied early on, but is up about 20 CS, 30 CS. I would say 30 CS actually.
Also doing surprisingly well is that Jax. Again, that botched tower dive really, really going huge. I was worried that Riven was going to go massive, but the Sheen already being gained for Jax. It's going to be a little bit of a power spike for him, and the dive going in for Cassidy. He's going to be forced to flash away, but Tominato going to be forcing him to stay under that turret and die.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to get killed there by the Azir, though, so that's going to be a kill in the hands of Olaf. Tower dive, not going to be looking likely for anybody here.
I will take this opportunity to send my deepest sympathies to Azir mains. For whatever reason, if you ult and die at the same time, your tower doesn't get any pushback. And so what could have been a kill for Gymnastics as he pushed under tower, Cassidy just gets knocked up. Been a bug for a while now. I don't know if they'll ever fix it. Might just be a feature at this point, but feels pretty bad. However, Tominato was there with open and waiting arms for that Cassidy, and so... you know, for Exiled 1, we'll consider it a draw because while Tom does pick up the kill, Azir does lose out on about a wave of farm. And so for a Kassadin that was getting bullied a little bit early, I think you're going to be happy with the outcome. You know, you're scaling relatively well at this current moment.
Yeah, or at least a lot better than Azir no matter what in the long run. And so, yeah, I think that this Kassadin is already getting to a point where he's going to be pretty much a force to be reckoned with. He is level 8 right now, and once he gets a little bit further than that to like level 11, then he's going to be really painfully to deal with. But Leona going on in here does get the 6, and the ult will be gained, flashed on away, but Ignite goes down. Bullet time activated now as well. And trying to go in here, Jax is going to be having a 2v1 going on here once again with the Olaf, but CC immune. The Ragnarok will be landing, and so he will not be landing the counter-strike onto him, and Riven with her secondary ult will be taking him down. Oh, great just jump on in here from Zac as well, bouncing on out. And so just like that, it is 1 kill for 3.
All right, and if you're red side here, I don't like sand, you know, just you're not going to be able to get a play with these minions that you have. Do make the rotation over to Dragon. It's going to be a trade with the successful getting topside. It's going to be a free Rift Herald for it, Never Lucky, so you need to get this Dragon, otherwise it's kind of detrimental. Actually, Exiled one.
He's looking to make it painful for him though, but obviously with the Riven there is going to be really hard. Azir trying to go for a steal here as well. Both these teams reading each other's minds.
Yeah, we waited so long to start this Dragon. We should have just been, as soon as we got those kills, go to Drake, because now Lonely Soldier's passive is popped, is going to fall to this Brand or Azir. Whoever wants to get the kill will be Gymnastics on the Azir. And suddenly you lose both neutral objectives, even though you had a successful gank bot.
Yeah, I do have to point this out as well. We saw a very similar thing happen from him in the last game where the Dragons were just taken a little bit too late, questionable decisions with the Dragons. The last one he was playing, they gave up what could have been an easy Dragon for them, and they all died anyway. And in this one, the same thing more or less happens, except they just go for it a little bit too late. And now what could have been an easy way of getting back in the lead, they're going to be losing their bot side turret again to the Rift Herald.
And that's going to balloon into about a 4k gold lead. We'll call it 3.5. And that's just from indecisiveness, I would say. As
oh my god,
wow,
that burst is so utterly disgusting. Leona without a hope or prayer in the world, except for Zac coming around the side. Ult is not going to be landed well enough. So, I mean, obviously they're just going to try and live out of that situation.
Yeah, and does have a level up on this Riven. Still about even. Doesn't have the mythic completed though, so has to be careful here.
Yeah, it's about even in terms of gold. Just a little bit of a 300 gold advantage, but all that is currently in hand and hasn't been spent by the Riven. Actually, no. I'm looking at it now, and Jax actually has a lot more gold in hand, so he's quite behind in that aspect as well. Probably going to be able to get Mythic off of next back, though, but he's going to be going for some vision in the meantime. Cassidy, in the meantime, going for a little bit of a rock, a.k.a. a Rift Walk, and going right on in. That should be a kill going down on the Tominato, and it goes in the hands of Caitlyn now as well. That's a great kill to be getting. That should complete her Mythic. But again, the overextend almost costs him his life. And so Shurima Shuffle, probably not going to be happening here. Too far away. But the bullet time, a little bit questionable on that one. But I mean, you just got to go for it.
Has the lethal tempo stacking. I think he wins this. Oh,
yes, he does. Not.
Get off my doink. Riven are able to finish that off. The Mythic was, you know, we talked about it before. The Mythic was completed for Riven, and right now, I don't like Sen has to find their balance here because the train is definitely going off the rails at the moment, kind of just giving gold left and right. Let's stabilize a little bit. Let's look for our win conditions, and let's stop feeding.
Yeah, I mean, the gold, it's pretty bad right now. They've lost their bot lane turret, and at this point, they're probably looking likely to lose their mid lane one as well. Lane switch going on here. And Riven now coming in to try and deal some damage as well. Zach, I don't think they quite have vision on each other, but yeah, now they definitely do, putting that one down, doing some great damage to Zach once again. And so, yeah, just a lot of great positioning going on here for, excuse me, NLG.
Okay, so I will say, to I don't like Sans credit, the Kassadin is about even with the Azir. We'll say they're a little bit behind, and the Jax is about even, a little bit behind, as a great EQ comes out of Red Panda from Zenial.
Yeah, but a great full combo coming out from Nerf Swain now as well. And the ult hitting as well. They're very close to each other, and that is an insane amount of damage. Ragnarok procced now as well. Going right on in, doesn't even care about these turret shots, but maybe he should, as Caitlyn about to get the headshot snipe. And trying to chase him on down now is going to be Kassadin. I don't think that Brand's going to be able to Rift Walk away from this. Great stun landing, though, but still cannot escape the fate. Trying to E away from the Azir, and will be able to do so. And it might not be done yet for Azir. He might have another thing coming in the form of the last exiled one. Trying to Shurima Shuffle on away. Does at the very least get Zac on the way out, but will, at the end of the day, give up his life to the last exiled one.
Yeah, an excellent one, doing really well for themselves. 3-1-1 on this Kassadin, about 20 CS up on the Azir, and if you have a win con, it's definitely this Kassadin and the Caitlyn. You know, the Caitlyn has stabilized. 3-1-4, gifted over a kill from Tominato, taking those tower shots. The headshot coming out to finish Tom off, and so the gold only about 3.5k in the favor of Never Lucky, and you know, I would say, in all honesty, scaling is probably on the side of I don't like Sand.
I don't like Sand. I definitely agree with that, obviously, because they have the Kassadin on their team, and Jax is also pretty disgusting late game no matter what, especially if he just builds correctly. And so one thing I'm noticing is that there's a lot of emphasis on lifesteal coming out from the Riven and Olaf. Do you think that's something that could be exploited if they build a little bit of heal cut?
Yeah, the problem is with the heal cut, you don't really have. Maybe you put it on Lonely Stoner. There's not really a great champion to build it on the side of I don't like Sand.
Oh, and not a great
as Dezen comes down.
Trying to engage now is going to be the last exiled one. CC immune, but taking a whole lot of damage flying on in. But again, CC immune. You're not going to be able to stop him. You're not going to be able to knock him up. And so it is going to be a net neutral. But oh, maybe not. Azir trying to shuffle his way on out. This is going to be an impactful situation for this to be in as well. Because the dragon fight is on. Riven trying to dash on in, but is going to be scattered and silenced. Will be a free dragon for them, but at the very least, no deaths being given.
Yeah, second Drake on to the side of Never Lucky, and in all honesty, with that first Drake being secured from the steal from Lonely Stoner, is going to be doing a lot of work here because you have one dragon of wiggle room to give here, and with the Kassadin scaling up with this Jax, you know, the Jax did have kind of an ill-timed TP, obviously was able to get away, but you definitely just want to sit on these sidelines and scale. There's a fine line between scaling and giving away so much that you never have an avenue back into the game, and so we'll see if I don't like Sand can kind of toe that line.
Yeah, another jungle objective being gained by the Olaf, and that should be yet another dead turret, meaning that they're about to get all the preliminary turrets, and all the while, not a whole lot being done by I don't like Sand. I do have to say, they're just getting caught out in all their rotations. They've not gotten really any farm going on here. They haven't really gotten any pushes for objectives. They've just kind of been lurking around thinking, do we engage? No, we probably don't, but we should still just stand around here. And yeah, they basically just lost a whole lot in a short amount of time, and unfortunately we're not really able to get much going, even in terms of land prow. Kassadin's trying to fix that now, though.
Yeah. Oh, deep TP coming out from the Riven is in the bot lane. Tominato and there's Riven look to engage on Kassadin. We'll see if it amounts into a kill. Kassadin is a little bit slippery.
Yeah, but I think he's pretty dead here, especially if
I don't know. He might be out.
Maybe
Blast
not.
Cone.
Maybe not. The Blast Cone as well as the ult, but landing on the Brand, and the CC is huge. So shuffle right on into the bullet time though, but the damage is going to be astronomical. And in comes Zac now as well. That should be a very, very dead Brand. And has 3 down in their favor. Cassidy, in the meantime, actually escaping. You're right, Blast Cone as well, going to be making him escape the clutches of Riven. And so this should be a good push and a take on the top turret for Jax. He knows that they're both bot.
Yeah, this is the most proactive play we've seen from I Don't Like Sand so far in this series. A botched play bot gives an avenue for them to make a play top, and they took advantage. Great engage from Lonely Stoner and Zennial. Unfortunately, Caitlyn does go down, but picking up 3 kills and a top lane tower, we'll consider that worth for a team that is down currently.
I mean, in the position you're in, anything that gets you closer to your opponent's gold lead is 100% worth. Now, we were talking about the sprites on these the jungle minions, and they are definitely something to be adored and admired. I love the little mustache on the Gromp there, I do have to say.
Yeah, definitely a cool little feature. Shoutouts to Snow, the cool map skin. But Baron gonna be started up, and I Don't Like Sand's gonna be caught with their pants down, have no idea that this is going on.
Yeah, the pains of having no vision anywhere on the map, unfortunately. The vision's going to come out too late, and it's just going to be resulting in the Leona death trying to flash on away, but you cannot flash away from death. Maybe you can. Maybe you can flash away from death. But yeah, especially with the luck of the Iron Solari being popped.
And Tom, just gonna run Lonely Stoner down. Stoner needs to get out of there. Ult was forced, but its passive will be popped, and it should be a dead Jax, There it goes. Azir picking up the kill.
Yeah, they just get caught out a whole lot in these scenarios. Standing around these objectives, not quite fighting for them, and their opponents, they just run them down right after. That's something that their comp is very, very good at, is just running people down. Olaf flying on in. It just can't really stop him. Azir engaging now pretty quickly as well. And so, yeah, it's a little bit of rough positioning going on here for the side of, I Don't Like Sand.
Yep, and if I were a betting man, I would be very happy with my over-under prediction. 21 minutes, 30 seconds. It doesn't look like this game will be closed out before game 1 timer was. Might be a little bit close, though. Baron is pushing. Neverlucky does have some pretty big pockets right now. Might be looking to reset. Just get that gold. Look for Soul Point here in 30 seconds. As Zennial might be taken down.
I think that this is not a fight that they're going to be trying to take. Ult going on in, though. I would say that's pretty worth. But Kassadin doing the right thing, running away. But Riven going in now as well, trying to catch him between turrets. The stun coming on in. But Jax flying in, trying to get a modicum of a trade. They are a little bit behind the turret, but they will be able to take it down very quickly. And just dashing behind the Brand. Expertly done by Get Off My Doink. And so now, literally net gain only coming out for the side of Neverlucky.
Okay, some key things there though. Lots and lots of cooldowns were used just before this dragon, all for the Leona support. That's going to be up here in about 5 seconds. And so, if I Don't Like Sand has an opportunity to punish, the time is now. Tom without his ultimate for a little bit, MF without the ultimate, Brand without the ultimate, Riven without the ultimate, but we're just slow to the rotation, and so it's just gonna be up to this.
Shuffled on out, goes back on in, but I admire the tenacity to try to do that, but that was incredibly desperate. And Leona lurking in the jungle here now as well, might be dying if Brand was able to hit his full combo on her. Kassadin now coming in to join the party as well, but yeah, again, the positioning, it's just a little bit rough.
Yep, and right now, Neverlucky, this is a scene we've seen before in game 1, in the driver's seat. Lots and lots of gold to hit over the head of their opponents, and gonna be looking to use this last bit of Baron to take down tier 1 as it expires.
Yep, their wave will be going on away though, so I mean they will probably need the Jax coming around the side. They do have vision on it though, so they're gonna be trying to take this fight. Stun landing, and Exiled One, doesn't matter how fat he is, he gets completely and utterly annihilated. They do manage to find a kill onto the Brand, and Jin might be getting found out now as well, going right on in with the Gale Force. And oh my goodness, Riven somehow finding a way to do Riven things, only Riven things, ladies and gentlemen. And the splash down, the jump in does go down from Zac. And so Get Off My Doink is going to be the sole survivor, but we've seen Riven do things in this situation before. Just going right on in for the stun onto Leona. And in comes Olaf to give some assistance as well. Gourd Drinker activated, but you cannot survive for long up against Caitlyn with all your stuff on cooldown. But Olaf does so much damage, axe throw, and just like that, the sole survivor will be Olaf. Triple kill for him. Not quite the penta we saw him do earlier, but the ace is just as nice.
Yep. And at 24 minutes and 30 seconds, Baron coming up here shortly in about a minute and 50 seconds. This is Never Lucky's game to lose. It would have, I mean, it would be a throw of epic proportions for them to lose this game, but we've seen crazier things happen, and so, I mean, I Don't Like Sand has had glimpses of hope. They've been able to get picks. They just maybe overextended a little bit too much that fight, chasing for the Riven. They were able to, take down Red Panda, take down Gymnastics, take down Nerf Swain, but unfortunately, bit off a little bit more than they could chew, but did get some gold in their pockets. And the later this game goes, the less and less that gold difference will matter. But right now, it matters quite a bit.
That is true, and I do have to know it's just the amount of lifesteal that's being put out onto the field by Never Lucky. You've got the Ravenous Hydra, you've got 2 Gourd Drinkers, and I think Riven's about to build a Ravenous Hydra now as well. I get that it's not the most optimal for their characters, but at what point do you bite the bullet and say, we got to build some grievous wounds on someone besides Leona?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be the Zac that picks it up, does the most AoE. I'm going to be taking the most damage here.
Oh, might be getting caught out, Red Panda? Getting definitely caught out. Last Exiled One with a great shutdown onto her. And Brand getting caught a little bit out of position now as well. It's bouncing time, trying to shuffle on away, but the smite lands now as well. Olaf with just so much lifesteal, but even that is not going to be enough. Lock of the Iron Solari popped, and Zac is going to be knocking him into the next dimension. And so with those kills, Baron in 10 seconds.
I did say it would take a throw of epic proportions, and that might have been it. Baron should be secured by I Don't Like Sand, and this is kind of a scary situation now for this side of Never Lucky. Nerf Swain will help with this wave clear, the AoE that he does have, but they don't have a lot of wave clear outside Gymnastics and Swain.
Is Riven gonna go for the Penta here? Riven Penta, let's see it. Get Off My Doink going on in, getting stunned up, but yeah, no Riven Penta in this one. It's going to be a Baron taken along with the objective bounty in the mid lane turret as well as the dragon. So just like that, they're only down by 30k gold, which in theory is a lot, but not compared to what they had earlier.
And Gymnastics just blew TP there to try to get to the Baron that had already expired. I was already taken down by the side of I Don't Like Sand. So TP is down for Gymnastics. And this is the opportunity for I Don't Like Sand to show us their macro chops, use this Baron to their full advantage. They have the 1-3-1 comp. Will they do it? Will they be able to execute it correctly? This soul coming up for Never Lucky. It is a Cloud Drake, kind of the least impactful of all the Cloud Drakes, or of all the soul dragons. But we will see Nerf Swain lying in wait, doing really, really well, clearing the vision. I Don't Like Sand going in here blind. They have to be careful.
Leona might be in a little bit of trouble here, but now trying to come up and give a little bit of assistance. They want to take this fight as 5. Obviously, Zac can get here pretty quickly, but look at how far away Jax is. They want to be trying to split push this as much as possible, but at this point, you just got to rejoin your team, and that's exactly what he's doing. And so if they can push this together, they're quite likely to win it. Dragon's going down pretty dang quickly, and this is Soul Point. Zac goes in, but the shuffle knocks him back. And so after all that, they don't even want to try and fight for it. They should have just tried to fight for it, but now they're getting locked down. And so Jintastic going to be able to fry Jax. And so a throw of epic proportions will not be punished, as Zac now going down, Riven going for the chase, but the Rift Walk will be getting him nice and away to safety. But now this has awakened a completely different beast.
Yeah, I mean, the gold lead has been cut tremendously, right? It's about 3,000 right now. Um, oh, Nurse Sway might be caught out here.
Nah, Riven's there and
Oh.
definitely going to be able to get him out of that one. Or maybe
Oh?
not, trying desperately, and the CC will be devastating onto Riven. Somehow, some
Ooh.
way surviving. Oh yes, it's the hourglass being popped, the stopwatch, excuse me, being popped. So the only one that will die there is Riven, but yeah, I mean, at the very least, they're going to be surviving a little bit longer, and they still have that Baron buff.
Red Panda getting caught out by last exiled one. Just going to be able to run that panda down. And this is coming into Fiesta territory.
I'm actually concerned. I do have to be honest because, like we said, this is a really good late game scaling comp for the side of I Don't Like Sand. And notice they're scaling their damage, and ooh, Olaf might be getting caught out now as well. Casting to be able to get on away from it, just trying to rift walk on away from his CC immunitedness. And great flash on in there for Dez. It might be a death for the Leona, but it's all going to be worth it as Jin forced to go golden, but it's not going to be too much they can do about it. And there he goes, get off my doink, just TPing in just to run away. And so, just like that, they are up on kills.
Yeah, regardless of who wins this game, Never Lucky will have to go look back at this game, look at the bot review, and be like, what went wrong here? Because they were in the driver's seat, and now all of a sudden, I Don't Like Sand's trying to punish them.
Yep, and Olaf does not have his Ragnarok now, and last Exile one could very well be able to get an assassination here. Bullet time is going to be instantly canceled by the Kassadin.
Wow.
Huge, and with that, they are all falling down like a Jenga tower when you pull a block a little bit too hard. And so now they should very well be able to get this top lane turret, and they've well and truly, they've caught them. They're only less than 1k gold behind, dude. This is starting to turn into an unmitigated
And when this turret
disaster.
goes down, they took the gold lead with that turret. What is this game? I mean, talk about throw up epic proportions. I might have caster cursed Never Lucky. That is my bad if that was what happens, because right now Never Lucky is just they're kind of playing with the brains off. You know, they're trying to make too many things happen. They just need to group, get a good 5v5. They should still be able to win it, but right now, I mean, it's really scary. The last exiled one is pushing level 18. Desmond's a menace on the sidelines. The Zac is now huge, has the Thornmail completed, has that Radiant Virtue. I mean, we were talking about needing some heal cut. Caitlyn even shipping into that department, and so
yeah, reminder, there it is. And
now all of a sudden it's a little bit scary.
And I really like that for Caitlyn because it shows an ability to adapt where I guess you could say that Never Lucky is not doing the same thing. Their opponents, they're just building a whole lot of damage, but look at the only item they have for resistances. Literally only Olaf has a resistance gaining item, and it's Death's Dance, dude. So they are down bad in terms of their damage output in comparison to their opponents, and they're also going to just resist a lot less damage than them.
Yeah, the same thing could be said for the side of I Don't Like Sand. We do see some resistances coming out from the Zac and Leona, as you expect, both being the tanks. So you're right. I mean, realistically, this Kassadin has one-shot potential on almost everybody on the side of Never Lucky. Dominated a little bit more beefier than the rest of the squad, but as we see Exiled one with Lonely Stoner, Never Lucky has to be very, very careful here. If you blow the Ragnarok on Olaf with about 20 seconds to go until Baron, could be detrimental for Never Lucky, as Nurse Wayne.
Oh, Azir will be able to save his life, but now that's two players that are pretty dang weakened now, and so I don't think this is a Baron fight they can afford to take. I mean, obviously, because their opponents have vision, they're going to try and get some poke down, but when you're poking the Leona, I mean, there's only so much you can really do in terms of damage.
The thing is,
Zac going on with the engage on the Red Panda. The ADC is going to be isolated. It's bouncing time. Airborne they go, and there
Panda
goes
goes down.
Trying to go ahead and stream a shuffle on away. Ragnarok going on in, but going down is going to be Gentastics. The flank coming on in now from Kassadin, and it is going to be a full team wipe, more or less, if Swain comes on in for the fight. A huge ulti for him. It does damage, but again, not enough. Too much resistances, and looking to rift walk down the ribbon, looking for the ace, the icing on the cake, but he is just barely not going to get it.
Shield doing just enough to get off my doink alive, and I mean,
Elder soon.
credit to I Don't Like Sand. I said there was one avenue where they could make some magic happen, and that was getting the Jax and the Kassadin ahead on these side lanes. And lo and behold, I Don't Like Sand, you know, with the scariness of that early to mid game, have turned it around, have scaled, and it looks like they're going to be able to pick up this Elder for free as well. And I don't know if Never Lucky can, you know, hold on between the Baron and the Elder.
Yeah, both junglers are going to be down and not able to get there in time for it to stand up, for it to spawn in. So this will be a little bit of warding central. Great Farsight alteration being put down there, so they're going to know that their opponents are coming up close. And so Miss Fortune, bullet time is going to be up, so can go for a little bit of steal. There is some stealing potential going on here, but I would say well and truly definitely I Don't Like Sand are going to have a much easier time going for the dragon. Going to try and go on in, though. Trying to jump on away. Does still have to be careful, but the TP is going to be coming in, and this fight is about to go down. Stunned on up. Forced to pop the Ragnarok, but in they go. Bullet time going huge, but still going to be able to jump right over it. Leona going down. There's their CC down for the count. Only Stoner is going to be going away, so that means that their smite potential is going to be gone. Going golden at the same time.
Wow.
Tominado will be dying, so it's going to be a 1-for-5 trade.
And I don't even think you take the Elder. You just go and end. The death timers are so long. Nerf Swain will be the only one up in 26 seconds, when Panda a little bit behind at 30. But they have the Baron. They should be able to end.
Yeah, and like you said, a throw of epic proportions. They somehow, some way pulled it out. Obviously, we know how, but good lord, that was incredible. Even with your opponents giving you a window, it takes a good team in order to exploit something like that and keep it going all the way through into the end, because sometimes one throw is not enough. You just have to keep it going, and that is exactly what they do. Nerf Swain gonna try and get things going, might be able to kill the Jax at the very least, but still the damage on the Nexus Christmas tree is going to be getting taken down, and Christmas will come early this season for I Don't Like Sand as they snake one away from Never Lucky.
And I mean, Nexus explodes, because that is truly unlucky. You know, Never Lucky played a little bit too offbeat, off tempo. They kind of conga line some kills, and all of a sudden these team fights were getting away from them. And I Don't Like Sand with the scaling comp was able to take advantage, kind of create these hectic fights. They never really got a front to back for their brand and misfortune to do things. And so, I mean, props to them. Well deserved win for I Don't Like Sand. And we're going to be going into game 3 here shortly.
Yeah, we are. And while we get set up for the draft, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We're going to be taking a quick break, but it is well and truly about to go down as map 3. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And if you missed the last two games, then please do go ahead and rewind, because me telling it to you, you would not believe me. Straight up, the things that happened are things that you would like. It sounds like a made up story, a fiction. And yeah, Righteous, go ahead and give him the lowdown. What exactly happened?
I mean, Never Lucky came out game one and just stomped I Don't Like Sand, and it looked like they were going to be doing the same thing game two, but a massive throw occurs, and all of a sudden, I Don't Like Sand takes a really hard fought and well deserved win. And so, coming into this game three, Never Lucky might be a little bit tilted. I Don't Like Sand might be a little bit, a little emotional, a little overexcited. So, this game three is shaping up to be a big banger.
Yeah, not only was it lost, it was a long, drawn-out loss over a long period of time, and so they clearly have a soft spot for Cassidy and Zach after what just happened. You can see the changes in their bands. They literally made the exact same bands in the first two maps, and now that they have a reason to ban something else, they're gonna be going for something else. And so, what is I Don't Like Sand gonna be picking first? Are they gonna be going for the Olaf to start things off, or what are we thinking here?
Yeah, I don't know. The Udyr was left up. That was a ban both R1 through R3 last time for I Don't Like Sand. So it looks like it was a high prio pick. They're able to pick it up B1. Master Yi hovered. I don't think that will be locked in. Yeah, you're getting trolled. You're definitely getting trolled.
I think I'm getting trolled, especially with the length of time before they lock it in. It's gotta be a bait. They gotta be going for something else, man. Like, even throwing it back the other way at them, like,
okay,
I'm gonna pick Olaf now, but Ash,
so
yeah, go ahead.
This is a great pick. Sorry to cut you off. Red Panda, known for a Seraphine, known for a more supportive style of AD carry. So why not pick an Ashe? That has lots of CC, lots of slows. The ult as well. Something that we see in the support meta right now. And the Bel'Veth locked in for Tom. He says, "I'm gonna put my team on my back, 1v9. Let me scale up, and I can carry." So right now, not a lot to go off of. We do see, that CC that engaged from the Ashe Arrow and the Bel'Veth looking to be the bulk of the damage. It'll be interesting to see how I Don't Like Sand responds.
Yeah, I Don't Like Sand. I'm curious. They're gonna be. I don't think Lux would be a bad pick here. Lux Caitlyn. I mean, that would go pretty nicely with what we did last time. Like you said the last time, them picking Caitlyn and Leona was basically a discount Lux Caitlyn. So I think that this would be a good pick for them, a good lock-in, because again, you already know what the support is going to be from your opponents or their ADC. So I think the Ashe is more than likely going to be in the support here. So Lux being in this position could go poke for poke with Ashe. Ashe has a lot of range. Lux has a lot of range, and Echo being locked in. Another AP assassin in the mid lane. I like it, dude.
So we do have, some AP crossover from the Udyr, which I assume is going jungle, and the Echo. However, Exiled One, I did cast one of his games previously, was able to create a lot of space and a lot of pressure with this Echo on the backline of opposing teams. Even if he doesn't do well or like overly well in lane, if he just goes even in these team fights, he draws a lot of pressure, as maybe this Udyr and this Lux can create a lot of havoc on the other side. So it'll be interesting to see. That is Xerath's support. Yeah, so lots of poke. Yep, lots of poke.
Yeah, I lied about the Ashe being the support. Clearly, they have other ideas going on here, and that is indeed a lot of poke. I mean, I think it's going to be Lux Caitlyn, so it's just going to be a long-distance poke lane, which is going to be not super interesting for the junglers.
Yeah. Yep, so there is a correction. Tom said that was supposed to be Zyra, so instead of Xerath, it will be Zyra. Throwback to like Season 4, Season 5. I don't know if you guys were watching C9 then, the sneaky elimination Ashe Zyra bot lane. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, right? Lots of poke, lots of CC, more so maybe than the Xerath, but we'll be matching that Lux with the poke with the Zyra.
Yeah, and all the while, Never Lucky are pretty much banning out the entirety of their opponents' picks from the last game. We've got Jax, we got Zach, we got Kassadin. That's like 3/5 of it gone. Are they going to go fully on in and ban the Caitlyn now as well? I mean, yes, yeah, obviously,
you have to.
They are.
You have to ban the Caitlyn.
With your ADC not picked, obviously you want to go Caitlyn Lux, and with the fact that they're not going to lock that in, you have to punish it, right?
Yeah, and the Echo pick, looking back on it, is kind of a little bit of a troll pick. You definitely need to lock in the Caitlyn there, otherwise, like, you see the Caitlyn will get banned. I don't think Echo was a high prio on either team, like high prio and pick or ban, and so you probably could have let it fall through to this second phase, but unfortunately that Kate,
they did ban him in the last pick ban, so maybe
Okay.
they were worried about him getting banned again, more so than Caitlyn getting banned.
Gangplank picked up, and you know, Gangplank is in a pretty great spot right now. I don't know if you have been paying attention to Reddit at all. They're basically saying he's a resourceless champion once he gets his first item in the Essence Reaver. And then once he gets into Navori Quickblades, he doesn't have any cooldowns. He's playing Earth in your ranked
Nice.
games. And so it'll be interesting to see. It could be a flex between top and mid. So we'll see where that ends up going. But the Varus locked in, it's not Caitlyn, but it does the same job. They have lots of poke onto this team comp that is relatively squishy. No tank coming out so far for Never Lucky, and so great pickup by I Don't Like Sand.
And honestly, I like the Varus about equally in this situation because, yeah, Caitlyn, she has a lot of damage. She has the ability to follow up Lux's roots with some
Whoa.
Yordle snap traps of her own. But, ooh, let's talk about that for a second. What do you think about that Rek'Sai pick?
It is not Rek'Sai. I was like, where is this going? It's Hecarim.
Oh, it's Hecarim. Oh god, these guys really don't know how to press buttons, man.
They just care about the abilities on the Rift. When it comes to draft, anything is. But is it Hecarim locked up? So that will be an Udyr top, which is interesting. Udyr Radiant Virtue top with that Demonic Embrace has been pretty strong as of late. And it looks like that Gangplank will be going top. Sylas is going to be the answer into mid, into this Echo. So we have melee matchups top and mid, and then we have lots of poke in the bot lane. This is going to be a fun game because you're really it's going to be like, two heavyweights going at it. It's pretty much the same lane, all three lanes.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at things overall, and I still like Never Lucky's comp a little bit more than I Don't Like Sand. Never Like Sand, they check all the boxes. Like, we got someone that does a lot of AP damage. We've got people that can CC. We've got people that can tank. We've got an assassin, and so yeah, we do damage. They tick a lot of boxes in that aspect, but Never Lucky, I just like their poking advantage, their scaling, especially in the form of Bel'Veth and Gangplank. They have the ability to help Bel'Veth from quite a long ways away if she does get into trouble with that Rift Herald. Like, you got Xerath who can pop ult, you've got Ashe who can pop ult from a million miles away, you've got Gangplank who can pop ult from a million miles away. And so, yeah, I do like that aspect from Never Lucky, is that even if they do get caught out of position, like was their biggest issue in the last game, they can still, most of them, add their ult to the pile and have some sort of game impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I do like Never Lucky's comp, but from game 2, what it seemed like was when I Don't Like Sand thrives at is team fights that are not a traditional team fight environment, creating these really chaotic team fights that are happening in multiple angles, multiple different directions. And this comp that they've drafted allows them to do that. Udyr could be flanking from one side, while Echo pinches from another. Lux and Varus could be able to do damage from the top, and Hecarim could very well ult into this backline. The Xerath, the Ashe, they're going to be trying to do poke, but there's lots of avenues
Zyra,
for...
Dude,
or Zyra, sorry, you're right. It is Zyra. But both those champions into the Hecarim, Hecarim could be wreaking havoc in the backline. So both of these comps don't really have a traditional front to back, one tank, two tanks in the front, some damage from behind, maybe a flanking angle from the top laner. It's going to be very chaotic, very sporadic, skirmishes. Team fights are going to be happening all over the place. And so from what I've seen so far in that game 2 is I Don't Like Sand, that's their bread and butter. They want to attack you from different angles. They want to make you make very quick decisions and make you sweat a little bit. And Never Lucky, when the train started going off the rails, game 2, they did not respond well. So it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of calm their nerves and match I Don't Like Sand at their own game.
Yeah, and one thing I will say now as well is that Never Lucky's comp, it can be pretty squishy. I mean, like, seriously, looking at him, Bel'Veth is the only one that, like, out and out can build any kind of armor resistances, but I think that they're probably going to be looking to lean a little bit heavy towards crit with her in the beginning. But, so, yeah, straight up, they could find themselves in a very similar issue that they were in the last game, is where they let these guys scale a lot, like, various skills, Echo skills, like, a lot, and...
Lux skills.
And Lux too, yeah, especially if she goes Dark Harvest, which she should in this game 100%. And so we could find ourselves in a very similar situation where you've got these late game high damage dealers and you've got no armor or magic resist. So I'm a little bit worried about Never Lucky in that aspect extremely.
Yeah, that's true. And looking at I don't like Sans comp, they can opt into straight front to back. Udyr and Hecarim will be beefy. I don't know if Lonely Stunner is going to be going that AD build that we've been seeing make the rounds with the Hecarim, but this Udyr with, I'm assuming he's going to be Radiant Virtue, will kind of be a force to be reckoned with. Lots of health and regen coming out, and so it'll be up to Never Lucky to itemize correctly, maybe build some heal cut and look for opportunities to make picks. Because I mean, in all honesty, an Ash Arrow hits followed up by like a Silas Chain, a Zyra E, Belveth knockup. I mean, this is a pick comp to its fullest, but in front to back, it might go the way of I don't like sand. So it'll be interesting to see how both of these teams have at it here in Game 3.
Yeah, I think the last thing I'll say is I think some of the biggest wow factors here is I don't like Sand's grouping and how prone they make themselves to getting like all knocked up by a Zyra ult. If Ash can get a solid pick onto someone like say Echo or Varus or even Lux, and if Silas in a team fight situation can like maybe even steal Echo's ult and then use it properly to get himself into a better situation, damage someone, maybe even kill someone because his AP scaling goes really nicely with his AP scaling is gonna be building full AP anyway, pretty much. So with Echo's ult, it's gonna do a lot of damage if you can get that in his hands. Varus' ult too, just a lot of great ults up in here for Silas. So those are gonna be my wow factors potentially for Never Lucky.
Yep, and with that being said, we're going to wait for this spectator delay to dwindle down, and we will get into a very exciting Game 3, the conclusion of the series between Never Lucky and I Don't Like Sand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to tonight's secret banger between NLG and the side of I Don't Like Sand. Wow, out of nowhere did this game really took a huge turn. It went from a 21-minute victory from NLG to, what, as you like to say it, a throw of epic proportions. And here we are in game number 3. We looked at their comps a little bit and we've had our thoughts. Righteous, let everyone know what your thoughts are right now.
My thoughts. Well, it's pretty interesting. So the Udyr didn't take Conquer, which I think is a little bit better with the demonic Radiant Virtue build. You're just gonna be healing even more with the Conquer ticks. It's gonna be really hard for him to hit Grasp onto a Gangplank as well. So we'll see how that goes. And it looks like Hecarim will end up going a little bit damaged with this phase rush. I'm gonna be trying to probably get in the back line, lay down some damage, and then get on out of there. So. But everything is kind of stock standard outside of that. Looking on the side of Never Lucky, they're going to be looking for picks, right? It's Ashe Ult, the Silas Chains, the Zyra E, Bel'Veth Knockup. They want to change their TC and blow somebody up just immediately. So Zangisia making the right call, does take Cleanse in case that Ashe ever does connect onto him. And Zennial with the heal as well. Going to be kind of safe, scaling on this poke bot lane. But yeah, I mean, so far stock standard. Both junglers, as we've seen in all 3 games, will be pathing towards that top side. It'll be interesting to see if Hecarim does end up skipping those Krugs and maybe getting a cheeky little gank onto GP, because this is the first time we've seen I Don't Like Sand on blue side. So we'll see if they have any strats for this particular side that they don't do on red.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gangplank is definitely going to have to be a focus, especially since you've got great... Oh my goodness. It's already taken a lot of damage for Silas. I was going to get to that in a second, but yeah, I think Gangplank definitely has to be a focus, as you said. Udyr, not only does he bring a lot of great CC to the table in order to aid the damage being done. Oh, Silas, in the meantime, I was looking to talk about this, doing a massive amount of damage early on to Echo. Echo, main goal for him is you don't want to die before level 6, and Silas can definitely do that to you.
Ooh.
So close. Playing with fire here, man.
Yeah, the chain barely missing out from Gymnastics on that Silas. Now get off my doink, has to be careful because he has used all of his mana. He does have those cookies available alongside that corrupting potion, so should be able to get some of that back. But if you're not careful, you could just, Q away, and then all of a sudden the opposing jungler's there and you don't have any outplay buttons.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that Hecarim did try to go for a drive-by hit onto Silas. Ooh, took a little bit of a turret shot for that one, unfortunate. If he did land that, it would have 100% been a kill, but he did get the flash while we weren't looking, and when we do come back, he goes and just beats down the Echo, taking his way his victory condition of not dying before level 6.
Yeah, and Exiled One probably wants to have that back. He just disrespected the Silas, had the flash available, and said, decides to walk up just for a little bit of minions. Combinado will find the knock up. Should be able to run out though.
Yeah, definitely should be able to run out of here. And now I'm just looking at things overall, and I'm liking the positioning a little bit better, for obviously because they have the kill, but I just like how they're just have great map control even so far. Unfortunately, Hecarim was able to sort of double scuttle going on here. Oh, and goes Hecarim. Just barely unable to get things going in their favor. But, I mean, again, he is at least able to get some summoners for his doubles.
Yeah, he gets Gymnastics TP. And Gymnastics has done this every game. Unfortunately, I think this TP, unless Lonely Stoner...
Oh, it's going to be worth, I think. He should be...
No, he's out. I think he's out.
Yeah. He is out.
And a kill goes over to Zangisia.
Yeah, and Swain, no longer on Swain, is going to be feeling a little bit of pain, courtesy of Zangisia using the QW combo. Get off my doink might be in a wee bit of trouble here now as well, and the Lux Q landing, and in goes Echo once again, but might be second-guessing that one. Flashing right on in is going to be the Bel'Veth, forcing the flash out of the Echo. And so, Silas, he probably going to be coming off a cooldown, but unfortunately Echo a little bit too fast because he procced his passive, and so he will be able to get safely away to his turret.
Okay, before that chain of events happened, what I was trying to say was Gymnastics burning that TP was a little bit detrimental unless he ends up getting a kill because he lost about 2 waves of farm in that mid lane. I don't know why Exiled One turned back there.
Oh my goodness. Yo, he finally does get him, but he hits the Q and the slow is applied, so Sylas will die.
Well, I mean, all things equal, I think I Don't Like Sand is happy with the way this early game has gone. It's the first early game in all 3 games where they've had a decent gold lead at about 500 gold. You know, we were talking about how I Don't Like Sand kind of thrives on these chaotic team fights. We saw it in the bot lane. Gymnastics and Red Panda were so focused on trying to get Lonely Stoner that they left Nerf Swain to die. You know, Singisi going aggressive, getting that kill, and then turning around once Nerf Swain was out of the picture, killing Red Panda as well. You know, unfortunate that Gymnastics has found 2 kills on the last Exiled One, but that farm advantage will help. And so right now, I Don't Like Sand, they have to be feeling, hey, this is a lot better than both these last games we played.
I mean, at least to start things off with, right? They got completely annihilated in the beginnings of both these games, and so now it's looking a little bit better for them. It does have to be said. And Hecarim, he's just been turbo ganking everybody here, looking to lurk towards the bot side. I mean, the wave is pushing towards him, so it is a good angle for it. Echo going to be looking to get a little bit of vision up in his jungle as well, as the Scuttle is going to be popping on up. And in the meantime, Sylas is going to have a little bit of an opportunity to regain on this lack of CS he has.
Yeah, and Get Off My Doink, seeing the power of this Udyr top, I definitely think it's an underutilized champion in the top lane. Once he hits this R up, Get Off My Doink has to be careful. He's going to be taking a lot of damage. But we see Tominato and Gymnastics coming.
But
Ulti comes out from Get Off My Doink.
He's trying to cut him off with the ult, but it's not going to be placed well enough. Sylas just coming up to take the Udyr ult and just walk away towards mid. In the meantime, though, Echo gonna be pushing it completely in, getting the plates, and they do have vision on him all the way, so Echo knows he can get away with that scot-free.
Yeah, he's 20 farm up, he's a level up, and a plate now, and Lonely Stoner this whole time has been on drag, doing so much work for his team. This is twice that Tominato has come up to top lane and gotten nothing in return. And now with Gymnastics going as well, this should be a free dragon. You are sacrificing a little bit of farm on your bot or your blue side. If you are Lonely Stoner, but take up that first early Drake. I mean, once again, this is worth for I Don't Like Sand. Doing a really great job about staying stable in this early game.
Yeah, and Echo just doing pretty much all he can to stay alive here. But yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble here. Bel'Veth looking and lurking, but down comes Udyr now as well, just thinking that they have vision, but oh my goodness, great shot coming out from Varus. It's a really rough start in the bot lane, and Varus is just making it even more so in their favor.
Yeah, 20 CS up, 2 kills. We saw the power of the empowered WQ there, just executing Red Panda. And, I mean, don't look now, but Never Lucky is feeling the heat from I Don't Like Sand.
Yep, they do manage to get the Rift Herald, which is a big victory condition for Bel'Veth, though, and so that's going to be making her do quite a little bit more damage. Can't be letting too many of those go on their way, right? Righteous?
Yeah, if you haven't seen a Bel'Veth with all the little babies, that's what I call them, baby manta rays. It is so annoying to deal with, especially when the Baron rolls around. However, Tominato has to be careful. Dezen is here.
Might be in trouble. Yes, going right in with the ult, trying to dash away. Great knockup, but can't escape for long. And Echo now being gifted a kill onto the Bel'Veth. Great landing of both ults from Sangisia and Zenial. So Nerf Swain will be down in ADC once again. Can't do enough damage, can't do enough poke to keep them away from just... all they gotta do is land one ability, and then the rest of them are super easy to land, and the damage is just astronomically huge, especially now that he's got 3 kills going his way. Should probably be getting close to, if he wants to build his, finish out his mythic item, he probably can get there pretty soon, but he opts to go for boots and a tier instead.
Yeah, he had bought the tier earlier on. That was, I believe, what he started with for his starting item, and so... the cooldown boost is going to be doing a lot of work here in this lane. The mythic item would feel nice, but being able to spam that E and Q will feel just as good. So a lot to be said here. The last Exiled One did give 2 kills to Gymnastics. Gymnastics had a poorly timed TP that didn't amount into anything, and so Exiled One took that and kind of ran with it. Now with this gifted kill, as we see Asher come out,
Ash Arrow landing, and so do every single one of his abilities. Sylas gonna be stealing the ult, but getting a lot of damage being done. That's the unfortunate thing about the Echo ult, is that it'll always be behind you, so you can't like engage with it unless you've already been behind the enemy. So Sylas pretty much making sure he won't die in that situation in some really crazy weird way, but still not gonna be able to finish off that kill, unfortunately.
But like I was saying, I mean, Exiled 1 kind of got bailed out by his team there with that gifted kill. Tominato, we saw it in game 1. We see it here again where he just bites off a little bit more than he gets you and ends up paying the price for it. And Snowy was in my ear saying, I mean, that was just Bel'Veth passive wasted. Got the Rift Herald, had the passive going, could have gotten, you know, a lot of those baby Manta Rays and then died. So it feels pretty bad for the side of Never Lucky right now. Already about 1.5k gold lead for I Don't Like Sand, which is, I mean, astronomical compared to the first 2 games where they were down, you know, I'd say 2 or 3k at this point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the only times they've had a gold lead, and especially a gold lead before like 35 minutes. So this is drastic improvements in their favor, and I'm all here for it, dude. I'll always point out when a team is doing well, even if they were having a hard time earlier. Jimtastic might be in a little bit of trouble here. And yes, indeed, he is coming in with the ult to try and save him. But having to flash on away. He's going to be trying to dash into him, though. And indeed, he will die, unfortunately, to the Gangplank. Shutdown gold going into his favor. And that might be even more gold as Bel'Veth coming in here. Spell immune. Well played to avoid the knockup.
Yeah, the Empowered E coming out. And...
oh my god.
Swain might be dead here.
Or he's not? How do you let that happen?
I think Zangicia wasn't able to get the Q off because he got knocked up as he was channeling by Nerf Swain's ultimate. That could be what happened there. As we see Tominato putting out pressure with this Rift Child. Gonna knock down 2 plates here, but that might be all she wrote. Maybe not even 2, just the 1. And... yeah. You know,
oh, look at this. We were talking about this. Look at what Sylas just
got. What did Sylas just get? Oh, he got Roa. Oh, no. All right, talk a little bit about what we were saying before the game.
All right, so yeah, we were saying that Sylas probably should go Everfrost. If he goes Rod of Ages, then Echo will probably kick his behind pretty hard here because it's forcing him to hit his stride later in the game, while Echo will always be doing that, and you're not going to be able to do it better than Echo. And so you might as well not even try to do it. He's doing quite a lot of damage here, though, and he does have some friends to help him out, but missing the utility there, missing the abscond, the abduct, excuse me. The abduct part of the abduct and abscond is going to be missing, so last Exile will be surviving.
Yeah, and that comes down to Red Panda just blowing his ult for no reason down bot lane. You know, he did get an ult on Varus, but he didn't have his support there, and he has no damage, and so that ult could have very well been used to kill the last Exiled one with that roam, but they ended up roaming and doing nothing, not getting any farm. I mean, look at the CS lead for Varus right now, 57 CS at 13 minutes. You know, this bot lane is kind of in shambles, and I wouldn't say the rest of the map is doing that great either.
Yeah, the only one that really is doing all right was Sylas, but obviously they figured out a way to stop that from happening. Echo now well and truly tied with him, and by all standards that means that Echo is winning because he will completely outscale him in terms of just damage overall. And Sylas now going for the Rod of Ages. His utility is going to be a little bit diminished because he can't just, like, you know, lock someone in place with the Everfrost. So yeah, Echo definitely going to be looking to outscale this guy again. It might be a mid-diff towards the late game.
Tominato getting a little bit cheeky here, but they have to be careful. Red Panda and Nerf Swain are low. Zangicia hits a combo with Zennial. They might just go down. As we see.
Just gonna hit him on the way out, trying to hit him up. Gangplank Zangicia trying to get away, but cannot. Tominato gonna be able to survive just barely, dashing over the wall, hitting the knockup, and might be able to get away. Has one more dash in his back pocket. Echo trying to land the parallel convergence, and damn well does. So that's another great kill for Echo. The scaling is going to be disgusting.
And Zangicia, with his dying breath, hits the ultimate on the Tominato, goes out to Red Panda, ends up getting both of them killed, and so, you know, all is even. Actually, I Don't Like Sand comes out ahead 3 for 2, and so really good looking game from I Don't Like Sand compared to the first 2 games. And I will say this Gangplank is a little bit scary. It did get a shutdown with that ultimate down bot lane, is 2-0. despite the fact that he has not killed his laner, and he is about a little bit over 2.5k gold up onto this Udyr. The Udyr has been doing well, you know, absorbing this
Yeah, he's still
pressure that
holding on to it,
Tominato
though.
put out. But this gameplay will be doing a lot of damage as Exiled just uses his ultimate to secure that first tower.
Yeah, for the meantime, he is 2k gold up, but notice how much money is still in his hands. It's 2k gold, and so that does give Udyr a little bit of a moment, I guess, to try and do something here, keep him here as long as possible, because, like, straight up, his gold advantage is only gonna, as soon as he spends it, he's only gonna get even stronger. So, Tominator, now with the top lane prio, that's why he was sticking around, is because they want another Rift Herald for Bel'Veth, and yeah, might be able to get her mini Bel'Veths doing some damage to some turrets, especially if they use this Rift Herald better.
Yeah, this time Lonely Stoner is here, but great Ashe ultimate from Red Panda will secure the kill on to Tominato. Will pick that up. Has the passive now, ultimate passive, looking to get this Rift Herald, and so a little bit of a comeback from Navarro Lucky if they can use this Herald effectively.
Lux try to go for the steal there. Mad respect for it, but yeah, Varus trying to go for a little bit of a cheeky Q steal here as well. So the stealing potential is definitely there for them. That's something that NL has to be mindful of. If they just had a little bit of vision there, they probably would have been able to get it pretty successfully. But again, great vision control. They had a control ward in there, so obviously their opponents would have to try it blind.
And get off my doink. They're gonna get this first tower. They might get the second tower with just the wave clear from. Wow. Blink and you miss it. Nurse Swain goes down to a great combo from Exiled One on this Echo. Like I was saying before the game, Exiled One knows how to pilot his champ really, really effectively, as Desmond does his best to clear out the minions.
Yep, Bel'Veth gonna be dashing on away though. Ult being stolen on away and will be hitting the wall now, the turret, excuse me, the Rift Herald, and that's a whole lot of feeding for Bel'Veth. This is something that I was talking about here, the scaling for Bel'Veth. If she can get some kills, if she gets the prio on the Rift Herald, is going to be huge. Try and get a little bit of a snipe here, Sangesia, but even now, the damage is not going to be enough. Oh, but in goes Lax Exile, is going to be able to get away. Did get a pretty solid parallel convergence, but unfortunately no follow-up was possible there.
Okay. This game plank was about 4.5k gold in his pocket, ready to spend. He's 5-0. This guy is your win con. If he can get to objectives, if he can force fights around this gangplank, hit even just one barrel, Sangesia and Xennial, I mean, they're going to just get insta-popped. So it's going to be very, very important that Sangesia and Xennial position correctly, position out of get off my doink's way. You know, let your 3 beefier members take up those barrels because, oh, wait a second. Hold on. This guy doesn't know the tech. Maybe I'm trolling. Maybe I'm saying all of this because he didn't go. He's not going Navori.
I know. I noticed that too. I'm like, Duskblade on. I mean, obviously you can go invisible if you kill somebody, which is possible, but that would be a lot better if you already had your one-shot potential by getting Navori quick plays. You would get a lot more value for doing something like that, which is, it's still weird, but I mean, whatever, man. You do you. I'm just a little bit flabbergasted at the lack of Navori buying. Yeah.
I'm sitting here scratching my head. Oh, look at this great TP flank from Dezen. He's gonna be able to do a lot of work if he can get on this backline. Tominato.
Ooh, and that's a lot of missiles and a death. The flank is going to be devastating. Tominator trying to go on in here, and Gymnastics at the end of the day is just too much damage going the other way. Echo just obliterating people with his 3-hit passive, Varus landing his ult as well as his WQ combos. That's a deathly combo if I ever seen one. Last Exile still got his ult in his back pocket, so if Sylas does get a little bit of a good hit onto him, and then Sylas will actually probably die in that scenario. So
I think he's trying to bait him.
Yeah,
and Get Off My Doink wasn't really able to do anything there. Had the TP available, opted not to use it. I don't think there was an opportunity where he could have.
Uh-oh, he will be ulting, and it was a bait after all, my friend. Sylas might still be dying. So close with the snipes. And Lonely Stoner, unfortunately, does not have ult. Otherwise, I think he would definitely be flying on in on Jhin.
Well, and we see I Don't Like Sand kind of learning as they go. You know, game 2, they got caught out a little bit trying to chase for these kills. They just weren't quite there. Lonely Stoner obviously wanted to pick up that kill in gymnastics, recognizes that he doesn't have an opportunity to do so, and just walks away, which is the best play.
Now, interesting. They're going to try and go for Baron. They do TP in here, so I do believe that's going to be tipping them off that they're actually here. So might be going for a little bit of a steal. Luxalt will be not getting up in time, just like 2 seconds off, unfortunately. So that's another great start going in for Bel'Veth, but they're going to try and... Oh, no! Oh, he missed. That's so unfortunate. I can't believe it, man.
That is sad, because that would have been at least 2 cleanup kills. Yeah, you did. So here's what I say about Gangplank's build real quick. This lethality crit build, I think, is easier for Dezen to itemize against than if he just went full crit, because really you just have Randuin's and Randuin's active to kind of lessen the blows of hard-hitting crits. And so it'll be interesting to see if eventually this Udyr can stand up to this 3-item Gangplank, but right now all he has is the Demonic. He's working towards that Radiant, and this passive from Tominato, the baby manta rays are in full effect.
Yep, it's a full swarm of mini-me's coming in here from Tominato. And so I think they're likely to take a whole lot more turrets. They may be down in dragons and kills, but they've definitely been prioritizing the top side jungle objectives, and that's been great for Bel'Veth. It's been great for them taking down these turrets by proxy of that. And ooh, Varus might be in a little bit of trouble here from a tower dive. His teammates will be getting here, though.
Sanguisia, seeing everybody else coming, will be able to back away to safety. But one thing we didn't touch on is I Don't Like Sand doesn't have super great wave clear. I mean, they have Dezen's, empowered ulti, or R, I guess, some of these minions, but with Poke Varus, you're not going to be laying out a lot of autos. As the ultimate comes out, Udyr, you take over.
Yo, all good. It's gonna be net neutral at the end of the day, as it was just a little bit of people smacking each other up. Not parallel convergence. That's his W. Just blast into the pass there, Echo. But he might be able to find Nerf Swain, trying to ult back in with the Echo ult stolen, but it's just a waste. Unfortunately, Nerf Swain, that's been a little bit of an issue for him, is getting a little bit separated from the rest of his team and getting assassinated.
Yeah, Zangicia with the Q from downtown to pick up that kill. And I will say this Gangplank is scary, and the lack of wave clear can be scary if Tominato is able to use that Bel'Veth passive. But this is a really, really close game, and the longer the game goes, the more better equipped this Udyr will be able to handle GP on the side lanes. And so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because right now it's kind of anybody's game.
Yeah, it really is. Both teams really do have good things going for them. Obviously, you got a fed Gangplank on one side, you've got a fed Bel'Veth in the form of stacks, you've got turrets going your way, but on the other side, you've got super scaling Echo, you've got super scaling Lux, who unfortunately is going to be a little bit less super scaling because she doesn't have Dark Harvest. Would have been really awesome if she had picked that, especially with the amount of kills she had. You've got super scaling Varus. So all they got to do is just have a little bit better macro, deal with these split pushes well, and I think that they can definitely win this game.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what ends up happening. This Gangplank is playing very, very well. Get off my doink. Doing what he can to keep Neverlucky's hopes alive. I'm looking at the standing gold right now. You have that last tower, that last outer tower up in top lane before I Don't Like Sand. If they're able to take that, the gold's basically even. And that's with being 2 towers down to Neverlucky. So, like I said, it's really anybody's game at this point. Dragon will be spawning here in about 30 seconds. And I Don't Like Sand doing a really good job. If they get to these objectives first, it's gonna be really hard for Neverlucky to walk into them. As we see Nerf Swain, might be getting caught out.
I was thinking the exact same thing, but he's knowing better this time. He knows better, and so just waiting a little bit. But oh my goodness, Hecarim, the flank coming out from him in the last exiled one, and might not be able to get away. I got more dashes, says Tominato, but are they really going to be helping you here? The answer is going to be no. They are a little bit bottlenecked in the current scenario, They do have the Blast Cone to get over the top, but they're either going to have to all in or just not go in here. Great positioning being held currently. Last Exiled one going on in. Blast Coning right on in. Luxol landing, going golden. But Gangplank hitting now as well, saving the freaking day from across the map, and in they go. That's a great take on the Dragon Pit, great landing of the hits as well. And they might be able to get into assassination onto this guy. Going over the top, Silas almost barely hits him. A steal is still quite possible from Lux. He's going to try and look for it, but it's not going to be happening.
Yeah, we're spending so much time.
Oh!
As I was saying it,
yeah.
we're spending so much time like charging up the Verescu. I don't think the Verescu charge has anything to do with the damage. We just need to be firing those out as quick as we can, getting as much poke as we can, because Never Lucky's members were all about half health. You have a Lux and a Varus, you're not out of that dragon fight quite yet. It is unfortunate that Lonely Stoner and Exiled One went down there, getting absolutely exploded by Get Off My Doinkin crew. They'll have to rethink how they approach these team fights because of that. But the poke still is on I don't like Sand's side, and so something like that happens, you can still lay down tons and tons of damage, as we've seen.
Oh, I thought they were about to catch out Red Panda there, which would have been huge, especially with Baron coming up in a little bit. This is definitely something that's going to be getting eyed up by Never Lucky straight up. I think this is something that they go for. They've got full vision over it. They want it. They've got Prio on top. And so, Echo, he's going to try and get a little bit vision clear, but might be getting caught out. Bel'Veth once again saying, haha, I have more dashes, but unfortunately, team has basically 0 dashes except for Silas, so I could be able to really follow that up. Either way, this could be forcing them on away, and they're going to be looking to take this Baron now.
Blue ward is available for
walking right into Silas. Gets right stuck on in, and the ult goes and lands from Gangplank now as well. Echo could barely be dying, but the stun lands, and so does the Lux ult. They're very weak. They're all so weak. They're basically one-shottable, and they go. This is the turn. This is where it happens. And the stun is going to be landing onto Bel'Veth, not trying to let him escape. It's going to be driven. Jhin not going to be getting out of there. Triple kill for the Hecarim, but knocking over the wall. At least living is going to be the Bel'Veth. But great retake on the Dragon. They landed so much amazing CC. The parallel convergence from the Echo. Just break that down for me.
I mean, this is what I was talking about. Last Exiled One is able to create so much space for his team as he's looking to get caught out here. It might be a consolation prize as... big barrel coming out.
Oh my god, they're turning it around. There's no way. She freaking took it from him, and now he's going to kill the Hecarim now as well. I have more dashes once again, says Bel'Veth, and she's looking to turn this game in her favor. I cannot believe that just happened, Righteous. And good lord, that is such a huge turn.
Tominato and Get Off My Doink saying, get in our backpacks. Get Off My Doink doing so much damage with the barrels over the wall, not respecting the barrel damage from this very fed GP. And Tominato just saying, this Baron is mine. And we have ourselves a game here.
Oh, a game that might be over very soon. They're pushing in on all sides. They're beset upon. Last Exile One trying to keep him away with the W. It's a zoning W, and so yeah, it's rough. Silas pushing in the top, pushing in the side lanes. The only lane that's not pushing is the bot lane, and so I think they're just gonna be waiting for these waves to push in, clearing out their jungle, and looking for another engage. Because why wouldn't they?
Great E over the wall from Gymnastics to get himself out of the trouble there. What I was saying about the last Exiled One, what he does so well is create lots of space and opportunities for his team with this, kind of hyper aggressive Echo play. We saw there, it's a chaotic convergence with his Zhonya's proc. Huge 4-man set that ends up turning the fight. Unfortunately, it didn't matter in the long run as Tominato and Get Off My Doink put some heroic plays out onto the Summoner's Rift to keep Never Lucky's hopes alive. And right now it's about a 5k gold lead for Never Lucky. Nurse Swain has to be careful here.
Does definitely, but might be able to catch up the Udyr. Definitely not with that amount of shielding going on there. So
yeah,
backing on up, but main goal was bringing up the wave, and they should be able to take this tower and maybe be able to catch out the ADC. No, too far away.
Pretty sure Nurse Swain healed the Udyr with his full combo. But these mana rays are so obnoxious. Destin doing his best, hitting the ultimate or the R Phoenix stance to clear those out. Gangplank ulti does come out, so you have Zyra ult and Gangplank ult down. Zyra ult is kind of on a quicker cooldown as we see doesn't get chunked by a little barrel combination from Get Off My Doink. Dragon will be up in 20 seconds. 2 dragons apiece for both these teams, and I don't think I don't like Santa's in a position to contest. I think you just have to clear out these waves. Unless they can maybe look for a pick here. Xennial just stepping way too far out, just exploding. Lonely Stoner trying to do his best to get himself out of there. Ults over the wall, but Gymnastics on the other side of the fight, able to take out Varus. Double kill to Gymnastics. Might be looking for a triple kill.
He might be able to get it. Probably not. That parallel convergence about to land at the perfect time possible. But Zhonya's also landing. No ult gonna be there for last Exile one, so he has to go right back to the Nexus.
That might be
does
game.
Have a way out if he wants to, but yes, it is indeed game. And so Udyr gonna try his damn best. And last Exile one gonna try and land another amazing parallel convergence here, trying to zone him off, but they are going to be respecting it and killing him at the end of the day. And Udyr just melts like a stick of butter on a hot day. Wow. And so with that, we will be seeing a great recovery coming out from NL. Not going to be losing this one today.
I mean, they won't be losing it, but I mean, if you're I don't like Sand, you have to be very, very happy with the way you performed in games 2 and game 3. Yes, games 3, you didn't expect the GP damage to come over the wall. Yes, the Baron got stolen away from you, and that ultimate is what ended up leading to your defeat. But the game 2 turnaround, the game 3 having the best early game that they've had so far, probably this season. Really, really high marks for I don't like Sand. They have to be happy. Meanwhile, Never Lucky might be a little bit less than thrilled with the play they showed game 2 and games 3.
Yeah, and again, the thing I'm gonna be remembering at the end of the day is that Baron turnover, dude. Like that is a thing that shifted the game so massively. It was a toss-up between either team, but once I saw Bel'Veth take that, once I saw Gangplank kill the Lux over the wall, I knew that, oh, this is going so wrong, my friend. This is not the Baron fight we were looking for. And so yeah, it's that really did well and truly cement it going into the hands of their opponents. They pushed the lanes up very, very well. They had a little bit better of macro lane control, making sure the waves were pushed up a little bit better than their opponents as well, I would have to say, NL. And with that, they could have easily gone for the dragon. Their opponents were like, oh, we can't just give up the dragon, guys. We can't give this one. We're 2-2 on the dragons, but we still got to go for it, even though it's a Cloud Drake. And they just go into the forest, they get caught out, and then from there, game ends.
Yeah, and I mean, what a series. Really, really fun series to cast. We might be going in an interview real quick. Until we get confirmation from that, we will take a short break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We actually do have an interview for you now. In case you guys missed the game, you missed out on a banger, a secret banger, a hidden banger. But at the end of the day, spoiler alert, it was NL that took the win 2-1. And we are here now with Nerf Swain. And so, yeah, first of all, congratulations. What are your overall impressions on the game, dude?
Which one? I thought the
The whole
series as
series.
a whole was a hell of a lot of fun. A lot of emotions and like excitement, and then sadness, and then anger, and then excitement again. So kind of a roller coaster.
Yeah, a roller coaster indeed. Now, my co-caster here, Mr. Kamaka, is a Swain main. Talk a little bit about the Swain pick game one. What made it work so well? How were you able to get so far ahead on that pick in game one?
How do you land so many E's?
It's so usually what happens is like people just don't understand the range. Like people think the range is like a 10 pixels like less or whatnot, and they don't understand like it's where you start. It's where your person starts. So if I throw it out and move back, it's still going the full distance. And I think one of the reasons that Swain was such a good pick there is just because they didn't have the largest range, especially in the early game.
Mhm.
Um, Leona easy target, Tristana easy target until she starts getting more and more range. So just made things awful for them.
Yeah. Another thing I like to do is people always underestimate the how much it expands when it explodes on a minion. I saw you do that a couple of times onto them as well. And
Oh yeah,
so,
the duo one, the double ones. Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I love doing that one. And so, yeah. Enough about Swain though. Obviously, it was a great pick for you. They ended up banning it, and so yeah. The thing that just stuck with me the most out of that entire game, and I'm sure you as well, is probably that Baron Steel, right? Can you give me sort of like an instant replay, verbatim, more or less, of what your comments were like when that happened?
Mega depression right before we had lost the fight, and we were like, oh god, no. Uh, Tom is trying to find a way in. Tom's trying to find anything he can do to steal it, and then GP comes in, hits a barrel, and it's just the comms are nuts. Everybody's freaking out, and everybody's just losing their minds. Tom runs over, steals the Baron, and we're just like, oh, the game's over. We win. There's no way we lose from here.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and it
mean
definitely
that.
was.
Yeah, the Belveth passive kicking in to kind of turbo mode there, kind of closing out the game, getting some picks as well. Going into the game two, you guys had such a massive lead in the middle of that game, kind of threw it all away, and kind of ended up losing a slow burn there at the end. Talk to me a little about kind of the game two comms, what kind of went wrong there, and then how do you guys kind of stay even keeled as you went into game three?
I think we were pretty tilted actually at the end of game
Okay,
two.
there you
We
go.
were we were not expecting to lose that game from the like how it began. That
Mhm.
game we were very ahead, and we shouldn't have lost that game. I have secretly Illuminati think that it's because I had a 91 ward score. The more awards, the less likely I am to win for some ungodly reason. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, I didn't feel like I was so shocked by how little damage we did just as a team. Like I didn't understand where our damage went in the later game,
Mhm.
and it just like they just lived through everything and then just walked all over us. Yeah, it was super tilting. Going into game three, we were just trying to shake it all off.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and
how are you
so
able to do that? Because you guys kind of were a little bit shaky in game three starting off. You actually, it was the only game where you started with the deficit early on in the game, able to turn that around, kind of walk through a little bit about that kind of turnaround.
Yeah, so I think every game is a soft reset. Like you're not like super depressed or whatnot at the beginning or whatnot. You carry over a little bit. But things sort of went downhill in the mental when Panda was getting caught out with the poke or whatnot. He does not like going up against poke champions. It's not something that he's comfortable with. He much prefers the lower range and gives him a little bit less skill shot dodging. But he hit so many great ults in the mid game. I think that like saved his mental, like the cross map ults and everything that he was sending across. I think that that was just fantastic, and I think it really helped.
yeah, I'd say so too. And so, yeah, going along with all that, what do you feel like was your guys' biggest pitfall this game? Obviously, we focused on the awesome moments that you guys had, but what do you think was the thing that sort of gave you the most issues this game?
Let's see. As a whole,
Yes.
um, I think that we weren't syncing up for our abilities and our CC well. I as Zyra wasn't getting my ult down in my plants enough, which is super important. Um, Ash was hitting her ult or whatnot, but wasn't dealing a lot of damage. Was completely down in CS. I think it was like 220 CS down to 80, and then our jungler was trying to split push as hard as possible with his little minions. The good thing is that we left Gangplank alone on an island for so long that when he was turned on, he was turned on, and he came in with massive level of crits. Um, but yeah, I honestly think the GP is probably the MVP of that game. That like the comebacks, the Baron steal, like the damage, because most of us like I will say Tom definitely could shred through them, but they were pretty damn tanky towards the end, and I don't think me, Ash, or that's not true. Silas could do a lot of damage too, especially to the squishies, but I don't know how he would have killed Udyr towards the end without some GP damage.
There you go. Well, it was a long 3-game series. Is there anything you like to shout out before we send it off?
I just want to say I'm very proud of the team. I thought we go in our ups and our downs or whatnot, but it definitely feels more family like or whatnot with all the bickering, at least to me. So, um, it's nice to be back a part of a team, and I'm having a blast. So, thanks so much for having me, guys.
It was a pleasure to have you too, dude. And yeah, we will look forward to seeing how you keep on getting on in these next couple of games. We'll see you later, dude.
Peace.
All right, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, you got to see an awesome secret hidden banger tonight, and you got to hear some awesome words from one of the players themselves. And after that, we really got nothing else for you, do we, Righteous?
No, I think we can send it off.
All right, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys please do go ahead and follow on your way out. You never know when you're going to be having a hidden banger coming on your way. And so if you want to be seeing those, go ahead and follow on Twitch right now, and then go ahead and follow them on Twitter. I do believe their Twitter is linked. Yes, it's super easy, and best of all, it is free. It costs you $0.00, so might as well do it. You get to see awesome League of Legends games. And on your way out, also, if you're in a following mood, go ahead and follow me at Comica_18 on Twitter. And Righteous, where can they find you?
Righteous_LOL. That's it.
Yes, and big shout out to our producer Snow as well. Snow, please, what is your social media so I can shout you out as well? Oh, okay. Okay, he's a little bit of a silent workhorse. He doesn't want the fame, but please give your love and admiration to Snow in secret. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys all in the next PXE League match.